of a dream. Never seen no sky so crystal clear. Never walked on grass or green.
In this series, Fullerton's damage has been an assault by the battery. While the Titan starters fired weapons from the hill, the man behind the plate has led the charge. But it's tough to pick out a single assailant in South Carolina's lineup. They've pummeled their way to back-to-back 15-run barrages.
So raise the flag and sing that song. Throw me a brand new ball. There's nowhere I'd rather be back home in Omaha.
This is a familiar stop for the Cal State Fullerton team bus. It's their 13th College World Series appearance, and the Titans are fan favorites here in Omaha, joining Texas as the only other unbeaten team. Tonight, the pressure is on South Carolina as the Gamecocks face an elimination contest against 2-0 Cal State Fullerton. Texas has already qualified for the weekend championship series. The Longhorns eliminated Georgia this afternoon, even after spotting them a 5-run lead. In this bracket, Cal State Fullerton joins Texas with a win tonight. South Carolina has to win to force a rematch tomorrow. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Harold Reynolds. It's great to have you with us. After being shut out in the College World Series opener for the 3rd year in a row, South Carolina broke out the bats. Harold, the last 2 games, 30 runs, and that's the way they play baseball.
They just put it on you. The whole lineup swings. They're not going to bunt very much. They're not going to hit and run. Tanner loves to let him swing the bat, and there's one guy in particular, Steve Pierce, has caught fire. He's in the middle of this order, and when you got the middle of the order swinging it, this was a long blast. It ends up about 420 to our estimation, but they had 390 on the board. He's like, 390, are you kidding me? And then the defense he puts out there. He's a third baseman by trade. If he comes back to school next year, he will play third base. He's a 10th round draft pick of the Red Sox. He may sign.
Of course, good pitching is still the best weapon against good hitting. And Cal State Fullerton's pitching hasn't just been good. It's been awesome. 2 straight complete games.
You just won't see it at this level very often. It's been incredible. And the pitch counts, that's perfect for this level to get there on a complete game. But the question mark, Mike, has been Cal State Fullerton's bullpen. The last time, as you look at the starting pitcher Martinez, they're looking for him to maybe have another complete game. He hasn't pitched in 18 days. And the last time the first man they're talking about coming out of the bullpen pitched was 17 days. That's how good their pitching has been. So the question will be, who's going to come out of that pen if South Carolina can get there?
Well, it's lonely down there. They may not need it again. His last start, Martinez threw a complete game and won in the playoffs. Cal State Fullerton set to go tonight against South Carolina. Back in a moment.
NCAA Championships on ESPN2. The College World Series is brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2 at Hummer.com. Hummer, like nothing else.
Welcome back to the College World Series in Omaha. Another great crowd on hand for an elimination game. South Carolina against Cal State Fullerton. And let's take a look at Ray Tanner's lineup now in his 8th season. He'll start with Brian Triplett. The senior will play third base. Steve Tollison, the shortstop, hits in the number 2 hole. And the man Harold talked about, Steve Pierce, who's just pounding the ball, 500 in the College World Series. Landon Powell, the big and dangerous hitting catcher. Kevin Melillo, the second baseman, hits 5th. Brendan Wynn will play right field tonight and bat 6th. Michael Campbell, a sophomore left-hander, will hit 7th and play left field. Nick Gardner will be the DH. He's a right-handed swinging senior. And Davey Gregg, the center fielder, will hit 9th. He's batting .324. Harold, how about the pitcher?
Well, facing this young man tonight, Mike Martinez, you talked about his complete game, the last outing he had. The key to him will be throwing the changeup for a strike. He comes at you with the fastball, curveball, but the change is going to be the key, talking with the pitching coach Dave Strano today.
His shutout was against Arizona in the regional, complete game. It's an 8th round draft choice of the Yankees. Converted shortstop, now playing in his 5th year. And a very bright young man, 8 of 9 semesters at Cal State Fullerton on the Dean's list. Triplett stands in, hitting .357 in the College World Series, .278 overall. A lot of guys drafted on this team. Triplett went to the Astros in the 12th round. Most of these guys are about a week away from playing professional baseball in the minor leagues. Fastball for a called strike. They don't get much of a break from the end of this till their real jobs start.
They really don't, and especially since they moved the College World Series back. We used to play, what, about 10 days earlier?
Exactly. We're always here on Memorial Day. This one's popped up on the infield. It's a tough sun. And taken by the second baseman, Justin Turner. Out in short right field. This is what the players refer to as a high sky. Very few clouds. We saw in the first game today a 70-foot double on a ball that got lost in the infield on a pop-up. And it's really easy to happen out here. Right field is a tough sun field.
Say this is the day you hustle that ball right there. You run that out all the way. You never know what's going to happen.
Stephen Tollison, the son of the former major leaguer Wayne Tollison. Ground ball to short. Walton, big 6'5" shortstop, throws him out too quickly, gone.
Well, you see the aggressiveness of the South Carolina offense, and you're going to play the style that got you here. You can't all of a sudden decide you're going to change. This is an aggressive offense. They swing the bats, and they're not going to wait around to see what you have. They're going to go after you. Nice little ground ball. What's the form here of Neil Walton, though? Pretty, huh, Mike?
It is.
6'5", getting down there like that.
It's a big shortstop. Steve Pearce, they just can't get him out here. 6 out of 12 in the College World Series. A home run and 4 driven in. This one's ripped, but right at the shortstop Walton. Another play. Sweep tag at first, and they got him. Nice play by Piliteri. And it is a very quick 1-2-3 inning. Martinez sets them down on only 5 pitches.
Instantly. Listerine Pocket Pack strips. Kill the germs, feel the clean.
I do have some superstitions. I try not to tell them all, but one of the things I like doing is when the game starts, I like scratching out the dirt where the catcher's box is. Makes me feel at home. It's my own little territory, and I usually scratch it out before every inning just to make sure that it's my place.
Landon Powell is one of the fine catchers in the country, a finalist for the Bench Award, and a young man you've gotten close to in the last 3 years, been able to talk to him a few times. He really transformed his body, didn't he?
Well, he really did. He took last summer off. He lost about 35 pounds, got himself into shape. He's put back about 5 or 6 of those now, but that was the knock on him, that he was overweight, didn't move well, and I was sitting, he didn't get drafted. I was sitting there going, a switch hitting catcher with the way this young man could play? Well, it worked for him. He came back. He was a sandwich pick this year. The Oakland A's, he was their first pick, so it paid off. Hard work and dedication.
And he's had a big power year. 19 home runs, 66 driven in. Hadn't gotten a lot to hit here in Omaha. Only has 1 RBI and is 3 for 13. There's some guys you just want to pitch around out here. There's no sense fooling with them. Let somebody else beat you.
Miami started to flirt with him last night. It looked like his swing was starting to come around. He had a couple nice at-bats. He swung bat pretty good. A lot of beach balls flying around out here, and that's the delay again. They keep coming on the field.
It'll be Powell, Melillo, and Wynn, the 4, 5, 6 hitters, to face Mike Martinez here in the second. Fastball at the knees. And we talked about South Carolina being aggressive with the bats. If they don't get hits, it also plays into Mike Martinez's game plan. They're looking for another complete game. And if you have 5 pitch innings like he did in the first, you're playing right into what he wants.
Absolutely. Nobody more elated than George Horton over there going, thank you. 5 pitch inning. That's beautiful. I mean, it's pretty clear they don't want to go to their bullpen.
This one is smoked toward the gap in right center, and that will go to the wall. Chased down by Hardman. Got it back in quickly, and Powell is into second base with the first hit for South Carolina.
Well, he took the first pitch, the fastball right there, and it looked like he gauged it pretty good. And he's sitting on another fastball. It's a pretty swing. Just right across the heart of the plate. He didn't hesitate going to 2, and you know, the center fielder thought, hey, I might have a chance on this catcher right here. Landon shows some athletic ability, Mike. Good little speed. They first went out to relay, then they went back. The shortstop went back to cover because they thought they might have a play. Powell runs pretty good for the big guy.
Does. Hardman did a good job of hustling it back in. Malillo, who has hit .357 in Omaha, stands in, and he tries to drag for a bunt. Martinez will throw him out, and Landon Powell advances to third.
Well, I like
not
the
a
play.
sacrifice trying to bunt for a hit.
No, I like the play. I mean, he's trying to bunt this ball to the second base and get a base hit. If not, you get the runner over. So you just want to keep chipping away. Coach Tanner may not like it. He's like, swing the bat on this guy. No, maybe not. He's congratulating him for bunting it. I like the play. Now all of a sudden you pick up a run, you're right back in the game, Mike. You're right there.
Ray Tanner came from North Carolina State, where he graduated to become the coach at South Carolina. Has his club in the College World Series for the 3rd year in a row. Swing and a miss by Brendan Wynn. Some gaudy numbers for these guys, not only on the season. Wynn hitting .312 for the year with 19 homers, 68 RBIs, but also here at the College World Series hitting .364. Chance to pick up a runner at third, and he hits it through the hole. Base hit. It's 2-1.
That's why I like the play. You know, you got a runner in Landon Powell who's not necessarily going to score on a ground ball at the outfielders. Move him up to third base, and now all of a sudden you hit a ground ball, you pick up a run. You're right back in at 2-1 ball game.
Walton's dive would not have prevented the run. Michael Campbell stands in. Another left-handed hitter, .317, takes a big cut and misses.
It's going to be tough for Martinez to just throw fastballs by this lineup. He hasn't featured much of an off-speed pitch at all. He's going to have to develop one in this game because they're going to hit fastballs.
Got a change and a slurve to go with that fastball. Line to short on a hit and run, and that will be a double play. Hit it hard, but hit it right at shortstop Neil Walton. So Campbell lines into a double play, but South Carolina gets on the board. They have their first run and trail Cal State Fullerton 2-1. Will go to the bottom of the second of the College World Series. Cal State Fullerton with a 2-1 lead on South Carolina here at the College World Series. Harold?
Well, Mike, that was a play there. You're wondering why was the shortstop standing in that position. First thing I thought about was maybe he was covering, but it was a switch on that. The second baseman was actually covering. That's why the shortstop, Neil Walton, was standing there on the line drive. Take a look at this, and you get a chance to see what happens on this particular play. You can see the second baseman creeping and holding. The shortstop doesn't have to move. Now, how do you determine that, or how do you decide it? It depends on the hitter and the simple cadence that they give. The shortstop more than likely is going to give the signs. He'll turn to second baseman like this, and he'll go, me. That means me. Or he'll go, you. He'll open his mouth and say you. And he told him he's covered. On that particular play, the second baseman's covering. So that's kind of the communication. You can't yell everybody to hear it. So you use little sign languages with your mouth.
Harold, how often did you go against right-hander normally going to hit the ball to shortstop? How many times did you have the shortstop cover in those situations, trying to cross them up?
Yeah, you try to basically use with the right-handed hitter, then the second baseman's covering, left-handed hitter, the shortstop would cover. Obviously, Cal State Fullerton did a great job of scouting and figured that Malillo was going to be shooting that ball the other direction, so they were able to double switch. It doesn't happen very often. You have to do your homework, and they did their homework. It paid off.
Pelletieri will lead it off in the second. A breaking ball hangs high, 1-1. Pelletieri hitting .354 this year. Goes after that high fastball and hacks it back.
Hey, you know what? I started to walk back down, Mike, but I'm thinking about why we got Fletcher out there on the mound. I want to show you what I'm talking about in the first inning. I love this Home Depot thing. You know, you can sit here all day. Now, let's imagine I'll be the hitter first. We'll get ready for the next pitch. I'll get myself organized up here.
All right. 1-2 to Pelletieri, up and in, fouled away.
All right, right, I'll go from the left side on this one. All right, so I'm hitting on the left side. As I'm sitting here, I'm looking for the ball in this area, and I start to go to hit. With this guy on the mound, what he's been doing is he'll step like this at the left-handed hitter, and then he'll throw the ball away. Fullerton, nice piece of hitting there.
Pelletieri goes after an outside fastball and rifles it into right for the third base hit given up by Fletcher.
Now here's a look at Pelletieri gets a little ball away. This is going to be the ball outside, and this is where Fletcher's going to get hurt against a right-hander, is the ball away. Because he's going to fall off that direction, you're going to follow the ball, no problem. But the problem comes in when you're a left-handed hitter. We'll get back to that next time they have a lefty and explain it a little clearer.
Fletcher stayed up the entire series on Pelletieri. Here's Walton with a sacrifice bunt. Thought about going to second. Did Fletcher. Instead takes the easy out at first. And another sacrifice to move a runner into scoring position.
They're going to continue, Mike, to just bunt that man over and advance the game around. That's what they do best. Keep that pressure on him.
Harold has 2 homes, obviously, here and back up there in the Home Depot set.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Get the wireless mic and walk around. I might do the rest of the game on this.
And you get some exercise at the same time.
Well, the last few years they saw I'd sit up here and eat the whole game. They decided to make me work.
Yeah, good idea, because you did. Ronnie Prettyman, the third baseman, has the best speed on the ball club, 325 hitter. Even though he only has 1 hit out here, it was worth 2 RBIs. Pelletieri at second with 1 out for the Titans.
I was talking to Ronnie before the game, and he said, "Hey, I hear you keep giving me a hard time about my name." I said, "Well, you are a pretty man, aren't you?"
Oh. If he had enough command to foul one straight back, he would.
Well, he heard you. He tried to foul one off.
And this barely falls near the stands, and good hustle by Triplett, but he couldn't get there.
I'm sure he heard a lot of things about that name growing up.
Oh, I'm sure. And baseball players have the biggest needles of any sport.
Got a long season.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff to think about.
Especially if you're not starting. You can just sit on the bench and think of all sorts of evil stuff.
And those guys right there, particularly the pitchers, those pitchers come up with all kinds of things.
Spoiled that one.
And that's the pitch that Fletcher struck Doran out on. And that's that little dart that shoots the opposite direction. Watch where he steps. He'll step at the hitter and then throw the ball away. That is a tough pitch to hit.
Helps get him that sailing action away. And they've been going after a lot of high pitches. He's been up in the zone since he started. There's another one. Slapped toward left, right at Michael Campbell. That's 2 outs. Wednesday Night Baseball continues here on ESPN2 after our game at about 10 o'clock Eastern. Rubio Durazo and the A's take the field against Vladimir Guerrero and the Angels. Has Vlad the Impaler had a season or what? Some may see the Diamondbacks against the Padres. Wednesday Night Baseball presented by Bank One on ESPN2. Even though he's been good for so long, he was buried in Montreal. Nobody ever got to see him play, especially the home fans, because there weren't any. But that guy is good.
Yes, he is.
He's got a great arm, too. Breaking ball fisted back out of play by Justin Turner, who started the game with a double and scored in the first. Fletcher trying to hold it to a 2-1 game. He's allowed 3 hits and a walk in the first inning and 2/3 of work and a couple of runs. Another high fastball popped up on the infield. Second baseman Melillo is under it, and the inning is over. Runner stranded at second. We played 2 full at the College World Series. 2-0 Fullerton over South Carolina. And we'll be back right after this.
Cal State Fullerton arrives at Rosenblatt Stadium. In the team bus, they got the eyes on that target. The target is to try to wrap things up against South Carolina and get themselves to the championship weekend against Texas with 8th-year head coach George Horton. So I asked you last night during the broadcast on ESPN2 about your starting pitching. 8-0 in the postseason. Mike Martinez a solid start. Are we ever going to see the Fullerton bullpen?
Well, we'll take another complete game from him. That's good news from us and for us. And I was worried about the first couple innings, and he's got those under his belt. So that's good for Mike. He hasn't been out there for a while. And hopefully he can be himself, and he'll give us a chance to win if he is himself.
Talked to a lot of your players, George, before the game, like Ron Prettyman, about how relaxed they are. It looks like a very easygoing dugout. Does an early lead help?
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, we're here to play 9 innings. We know South Carolina's going to give us everything they got, and we're just trying to take it one pitch at a time, relax intensity, and their hearts are pounding, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, the exact scenario last year, 2-0 start, then Stanford beat you twice. What'd you tell the team to try to avoid that this year and make that championship weekend against Texas?
Well, it wasn't a hard speech at all because a lot of these guys were here last year, and a lot of the guys we brought in knew exactly what happened. So I didn't have to say much. I just reminded them we have a lot of work to do, and it's going to be pitch by pitch. And if we get through this bracket, we've got a lot of work to do with Augie's club. All
right, guys. 7-game win streak for George Horton and the Titans coming in.
David, thanks very much. And after the miserable start they got off to, I'm sure all their fans out in California are just thrilled for the way they have come on in the second half of the season, because with the schedule that they played this year, just brutal. 15-16, you figure it's over.
They started off against some tough squads, and you're right, they were buried deep, but they battled back. Character of the team, very good.
Chopped on the ground. Walton hustles it across. One gone.
You're getting to see the full package from Walton defensively. Ranging his arm, and right there charging the ball in. Boy, Dave asking those questions. Questions are not easy. Those interviews are tough.
No, sir. No, he does a great job.
He sure did. And he sure does.
If he's got to ask a tough question, he does. And if he's got to climb a 135-foot dome, he does. I don't know why. I mean, you pay $4 for a ticket, you can get to the inside. You don't have to climb up the outside.
Entertainment value, entertainment, versatility.
Cal State Fullerton's defense has been superb in the postseason. 72 innings with 1 error, none here in Omaha. So they have made all the routine plays and a few hard ones. It's one of the major reasons they're 2-0. Now Davy Gregg has a 2-0 count on him. He's the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, or the center fielder, excuse me.
All right. You know, how about that too? The cooperation of the coaches to do an interview in the middle of the game.
Unbelievable.
It's great. I can't think of a lot of coaches that would do that.
No. No, this is unprecedented access and cooperation for us, and we ask for a lot of things. I mean, we're trying to show fans as many things as we possibly can, get them inside the game, and I think it really helps when we do an in-game interview. And the coaches have just been splendid about this, sometimes in very difficult situations. I mean, I'm sure the last thing they want to do is come out and talk to one of us.
Absolutely right. I mean, I'm thinking back to last night with Jim Morris from Miami. They played horrible defense the day before, lost the game, and then they're getting their tails whooped, and he has to go do an interview.
Yep.
And he stands up there and took it on. We thought he was going to bail.
They will do anything to help their sport, and the guys that are out here have just done a superb job. And if you want all the live stats and game recaps from all of this year's College World Series, all you have to do is go to NCAAsports.com. It's the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships, which Harold will name in order in just a moment, alphabetically. Right back up the middle. That's a base hit. So 1 on, 1 out. And Mike Martinez has given up a base hit in every inning so far.
And Davy Gregg has started things. Last night he came up with a couple big hits for South Carolina, and then it carried over with Triplett. So they're back to the top of the order, and if the top of the order can get going and catch up with the bottom, they're in trouble.
And Gregg is their best base stealer. He is the only one in double figures in that department. He's stolen 14 bases in 19 tries. And Triplett handles the bat real well.
That was close.
Good move by the right-hander.
Used to be a shortstop. Good little spin move by the ex-shortstop.
Triplett popped out to start the ball game. Takes this one inside. The Gamecocks 1 through 5 hitters against Cal State Fullerton pitching. This is the second time they've met. Only 1 for 23. They're killing everybody else. And that hit came in the last inning. Powell with a double.
Yeah, but I think this is a different mental frame of mind, I should say, that South Carolina's in than the first game. First game, they were a little nervous. They didn't make good adjustments. The last, when you score 30 runs in 2 games, you're pretty confident.
One throw to Triplett, another throw to first, and Greg dives back. And they're going to call a balk. That'll send him down to second base.
I thought he might have balked on the first one, too. You have to step of some sort. That's why I was saying nice spin move by the shortstop. And it was called, obviously, by the home plate umpire. If he steps off the mound, that's one thing. You become an infielder. But when you spin to throw, you have to. Well, I don't know. That looked pretty clean.
I thought he did. But it puts a runner in scoring position for Triplett with 1 out here in the 3rd. Looked like he pulled the string on that one. 1-1 to the senior third baseman. Martinez has been the number 3 starter on this staff the entire year. And in the postseason, these starters have been absolutely brilliant. 8-0. The staff earned run average is 1.56. It's against the best teams in the country. And there's Jason Windsor, who had that masterpiece in the opening game and shut out this powerfully hitting South Carolina team 2-0.
Speaking with the Fullerton coaching staff, too, one of the things they said is you got to remember these kids pitch once a week. So it allows them to throw a little bit more and be able to come back.
Breaking pitch and a big swing and a miss.
Whereas in pro baseball, they're going to go once every 5th day. You throw in between. You know, so that's why the pitch total might be at 120 pitches, and it's not as harmful as maybe it is for a major league guy who's going to come back and throw 2 or 3 days later.
And Windsor, who you saw, would be the starter tomorrow if Cal State Fullerton loses tonight. If they win, he would be the opening game starter in the championship series, and that one is hammered to left field. It is gone. The 8th home run of the year for Brian Triplett, and South Carolina takes the lead 3-2.
This is the recipe they used the last 2 days. Bottom of the order gets on, and the top of the order is going to clean you up. He knew it. This is a no doubt about it. Martinez throwing a lot of fastballs, and this is a pretty good fastball hitting club, and he just showed you. The 2 strikes, jumped all over that fastball.
That thing was blasted with the wind blowing to right. It just cut through it. And Martinez would love to have it back. So for the first time in the College World Series, South Carolina has gone ahead of Cal State Fullerton. And that brings up Tollison, who takes a fastball inside. 1 out, nobody on. Tollison's season's average down to .317. And 4 for 14 here in Omaha with a couple of runs driven in and a home run. Pulls this one to short. Walton, 2 gone.
Well, Martinez has got to develop a breaking ball. Right there, he got Tollison off balance on a hook. That, to me, is going to be the key to the rest of his game, because he cannot sit there and think he's going to throw fastballs by this lineup. It just won't happen.
Well, not in the high 80s, it won't. Two out, nobody on for Steve Pierce. He grounded to short his first time up. 6 for 13 in the College World Series. There's a fastball at the knees for a called strike. Pierce, a 10th round pick of the Red Sox. Tremendous power. Had problems with his wisdom teeth earlier in the year. Lost 10 to 15 pounds. Really went into a hitting slump. Got very weak. And they didn't do anything about it. And then finally they said, hey, we got to get those puppies out of here.
Woo, that would hurt. You have your wisdom teeth. When did you have your wisdom teeth taken out? You remember?
I was about 25. This was fouled at the plate. And the dentist, they were all impacted. The dentist wanted to take out 2 at a time. I said, you get 1 shot, pal. You can take out as many as you want, but you're never going to see me again. So they took out all 4.
Yeah, I was like, take me out. Just knock me out.
Absolutely.
They were like, oh, we can just numb it. Numb me. Huh?
Yeah, numb this. Ball to Pierce.
I don't know how you put up with that pain. You know, it gives you headaches.
Sure.
Everything else when those wisdom teeth are messing with you.
Gained the weight back after they got the wisdom teeth removed. Slap toward the hole, base hit. Pierce back up to 500 at the College World Series. He's now 7 for 14. And that will bring up Landon Powell, who doubled his first time up and scored. The rally continues for the Gamecocks.
Pierce is a pretty big kid, too. I didn't realize his size. He's very stout, strong. I was giving him a hard time about how far he hit that ball last night, but when I got next to him, I could see why. Oh, yeah.
Landon Powell, second on the club with 19 home runs and 66 RBIs. Pierce is the leader with 21 and 69, both those categories. Big swing on a change. Strike 1 to Landon Powell.
It's a good pitch. They needed to do something off speed to get that fastball mentality, get that fastball out of their minds, I should say, because they're sitting on fastball every pitch.
They are going up to the plate, Hackett. Missed outside with another.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Pierce steal a base right here. You got a pitcher just balked the last time he tried to go to first base. Locking in on All-American catcher. Go ahead and snatch one. He throws him out. You got Powell leading off the inning. Next inning.
Foul tipped. You want to steal with Powell up there, or you comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable with that because of the style of play. They're all going to just be hacking anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't think you're going to take the bat out of his hands. It doesn't look like they're pitching around anybody in this.
No, they're not.
Series.
1-2 breaking pitch hit toward third. Prettyman. The inning is over, but South Carolina gets a pair to take the lead. Fear the chicken. And the Gamecocks have the lead here at the College World Series.
Over the last 2+ games, South Carolina's belted out 40 hits, scored 33 runs for head coach Ray Tanner. So I'd imagine you feel pretty confident getting the offense going against a very good Cal State Fullerton team. Is 3 runs enough is the question?
Well, I don't think 3 runs is going to be enough. They jumped out, got 2. We battled back triplets, big home run, put us back in the lead. But a long way to go. Hopefully we'll continue to swing the bats.
How long would you like Jason Fletcher to go tonight? 5+?
Well, that'd be great. If we can get 4 or 5 quality innings out of him, then we can go to the bullpen. We got some guys down there. But he's battling hard for us, and hopefully he can continue to do well.
Second time in 3 years you made the Final Four of this tournament out of the loser's bracket. What kind of mentality does it take to win this game tonight and stay alive?
Well, I think you just got to play hard, and you got to be mentally tough. We've been in this situation before. We battled all year long, had to win a lot of Sunday games, and hopefully that mental toughness will pay off.
Ray Tanner and South Carolina guys want to force a game tomorrow.
All right, thank you, David. And Ray Tanner's done quite a job with this ball club. As you said, 3 straight years he has had them in Omaha, Nebraska for the College World Series. Won 766 games so far in his career. 371 of those at South Carolina. And when he's referring to Sunday games, he's talking about the last game of a series, last game of the playoffs. You win Sunday games, you stay alive.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's different than any other brand of baseball. On Friday, they pitch their best pitcher. Saturday's the number 2 guy, and Sunday's the 3rd guy. And that's really what they're looking at this game at. You got your number 3 starter going in. If you can win 3rd game, that Sunday game is huge.
Clark Hardman stands in. And Fletcher obviously likes to pitch upstairs. And the Cal State Fullerton hitters have been chasing a lot of things out of the strike zone so far.
And he's doing a great job of shutting down their lefties. And the other night, Dorn had big hits. Prettyman came up with the hit. If you can shut down their left part of their lineup.
In the air to right for Brendan Wynn. Got a late start and then makes a diving catch. He may have lost that ball in the sun.
He might have. Came hard, and you can see with the sunglasses he's using, those Oakleys there, you don't have to flip them down. You know, they just stay there. It's the old style, you just have to flip them down, find the ball, then flip it down.
Looked like he froze the first couple of steps and then had to make the nice diving catch. This is Suzuki, who walked and scored back in the first. Still 1 for 7 in Omaha. A little check swing toward the second baseman, Melillo, and he throws the catcher out. 2 gone. Here's a look at that monster shot in the last half inning, brought to you by Monster.com. Well, this will be the shot from the Monster.com cam from the Henry Dorley Zoo. In the foreground there, you see the geodesic dome that Dave Ryan and Al Killian climbed last night. We still don't have an explanation of why.
Entertainment.
For who? Us?
I think Dave just wanted to. We got to get Dave back on here and ask him why. Why, Dave?
Danny Dorn, nobody on, 2 out. Here in the Cal State Fullerton 3rd, they find themselves down 3-2. Swung over the top of a breaking pitch. Dorn was the preseason Big West Player of the Year, but basically overshadowed by the brilliant season of Suzuki. All Suzuki did this year was hit 429. 429. No wonder they're pitching around. Dorn, big swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
How do you pick somebody to be the preseason Player of the Year?
Just based on last year.
Yeah.
Now you see a lot of times it works. You know, basketball and football, you get it right. Struck him out on a fastball. We've played 3 full in Omaha. It's 3-2 South Carolina. Big hit for Triplett, put his ball club ahead in the top of the 3rd inning. And here is a look at that monster shot, brought to you by Monster.com. On a 1-2 count, a 380-foot blast, and there was no doubt about that one. I hope those are trick glasses.
I hope they are too, because if not, you're laughing at them. So we don't want.
That's right. That's it. Don't want that.
No, they're trick glasses.
Everybody eats constantly out here. We have gotten Harold off of the program.
Yeah.
You haven't been munching much at all, have you?
No, I've just been hanging out this year. I got to move up and down the set.
Kevin Melillo will lead it off here in the 4th inning. His play was stopped by another beach ball on the field.
did get some Cajun food one night from LSU, but unfortunately they've headed home.
Didn't leave you anything?
No.
Base hit just off the glove of the diving Pellettieri into right field. I want to welcome you to Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha for the College World Series. Glad you could join us tonight. It's an elimination game. South Carolina has to win to force a rematch with Cal State Fullerton tomorrow. If the Titans win, they would go on to the championship series against Texas this weekend, and their pitching would be perfectly set just the way the Texas Longhorns have it now. Brendan Wynn singled his first time. Malillo, not much of a threat to steal at first, only has 3. Wynn has reached base the last 6 times he's come up in the College World Series. Strike called, inside corner fastball.
They'd like to swing the bats, no doubt. Sit back and try to hit that long ball. And who said hitting isn't contagious? I mean, this whole lineup is smoking. Even the outs are hit hard.
Wynn has 19 homers himself, tied with Landon Powell for second on the ball club. Another check throw to first. Martinez gave up 1 in the second, 2 in the third on the home run by Triplett. He's got 1 on and nobody out here in the 4th. Breaking pitch just outside third, foul. They have a lot easier than football fans.
Took out the dot.
He's the period. The dot's moving. He's going to be a problem by the time he's 16. That guy's going to have a great sense of humor.
That's funny.
He'll be doing that on blind dates and wonder what's going wrong.
Why is she not receptive?
Yes. Brendan Wynn, 1 and 2, fastball in the dirt, blocked by Suzuki, the All-American. Grew up in Maui in Hawaii. Went to Cal State Fullerton. Well, you got to have some plans if you want to leave Maui. You're leaving heaven.
You're not kidding.
2 and 2 to Brendan Wynn.
I guess it's just like anywhere. Everybody wants to leave home and go to school somewhere else,
Yeah.
even if you grow up in Maui.
See the paint on Suzuki's fingers so that Martinez gets a better look at it. Fastball fouled at the plate. I like the paint down the length of the fingers instead of the painted nails. I thought the painted nails just didn't work for me.
It was different.
Yes, it was. Count rides at 2 and 2 to Win. And that hit him.
That might be a foul ball.
Or did it hit the bat? Got the bat. Right on the end.
Right off the knob. You could hear it. I played with a guy, Jim Presley. He would start jumping up and down, shaking his hand.
Sure.
And then he would squeeze his finger to make it look like that's where he got hit. Every time they checked him, they gave it to him.
Breaking pitch struck him out. Well, we've said it many times. There's very little honor in baseball. Lie, cheat, kick, steal, anything you can.
All about getting ahead. But this is a great pitch to come back with. Martinez, he busts him in, he got the foul ball, and then he throws the curveball. This is the key pitch tonight, I feel like, against this South Carolina lineup. He has to develop an off-speed pitch.
Here's Michael Campbell, who hit the ball hard but lined into a double play back in the second. Hit it right at the shortstop, Neil Walt.
Yeah, Yeah, I think I said when I was doing that breakdown it was Melillo. It was Campbell who was on the hit and run lined out. Got that wrong, people. I got it wrong.
As my buddy Paul McGuire says, the only bad mistake is one that you don't correct. Throw down to first on a pitch out. Suzuki, one of those guys who will throw everywhere. Got the big arm. Second round draft choice of Oakland. Oh, nice throw.
It really was.
On the bag.
Well, and that's a nice adjustment. I mean, there was a pitch out, throw to second base. He looks around, sees the runner's going to be off, and guns went down to first.
1 on, 1 out in the fourth. Well, Martinez has been tough when he's kept the ball down on the zone.
Yeah, and now he's changed speeds. He's got the changeup working now, and the breaking ball. It took him a little while to get that touch and that feel. Looks like he's in a pretty good rhythm now, being able to throw all 3 for strikes.
Well, if you joined us late, he hadn't pitched in 18 days. He pitched in the regional and shut out Arizona with a complete game, but did not pitch in the Super Regionals. This is his first action here in the College World Series. 18 days, even for a college pitcher, is a long time to be off.
It's a long time. And generally, if you have 18 days off in the beginning of the season, you're still playing inter-squad games. Once the season gets going, they quit all that practice stuff and they just play the regular schedule.
2-1.
I should say when you move to conference play, pretty much
Right.
that's what happens.
2 balls and a strike, 1 out, 1 on in the fourth. Just cued it off the end of the bat foul. 2-2 to Campbell. Kid has been a streak hitter this year. Had 3 home runs in 1 game of his 14. And power up and down this lineup. I mean, he's the 7 hitter and has 14 dingers.
Hey. Spread out. Adjust. Come on, Mike.
Aren't too many teams that come out here. Reminds you of the old LSU ball clubs. They'd have 9th hitters that had 10. Runner goes, swing and a miss, struck him out, and safe at second base. Melillo gets in there. Back-to-back strikeouts from Mike Martinez, and a runner at second now.
And Suzuki was bobbling that ball in the transfer. He just quite couldn't get it out. It's a changeup, and so it forces him to hold back with the swing, and he wanted to go out and go get it, but that threw his rhythm off, and the next thing you know, he's bobbling the ball. Pretty good jump. He's on his way, but had Suzuki caught it clean, I think he might have been out.
Double clutch, you have no chance. Gardner, the DH, inside. Gardner grounded a short his first time up. South Carolina looking for a little breathing room here. Up only 3-2 in the fourth. Martinez was a little shaky back in the third, but certainly seems to have settled in. Gardner over the top of that slow breaking ball again.
Speaking with Coach Tanner the other day, I asked him what would he do different this year with his ball club. He said I would have gave Gardner more at-bats.
Only has 37 at-bats coming into the College World Series, and he praised this young man. They went a different direction with DHs. Gardner actually ended up being the 3rd DH on the roster. Never complained about it. In the last couple of weeks, he's just been killing it in batting practice. So they decided, let's take a shot. At the end of the season, he played well here in Omaha last year when the Gamecocks were.
He had a big hit the other night.
Breaking ball low and inside. 2-2 to Gardner with a runner at second. We're in the South Carolina fourth. The Gamecocks up by a run in a do-or-die situation for them. They must win tonight. Titans have that 2-2 thing.
And South Carolina's got the rebuttal. They got the hat shaking. Cal State Fullerton's touching the lid. See who's got the best mojo. Now they've gone to the hat touch. Because it didn't work last time you fouled it off.
So you get a do-over? Is that what you're saying?
Guess so. Changing the strategy.
Gardner lofts it to shallow left. Dorn comes on, has a bead, makes the catch. Third out, a runner stranded at second. We will go to the bottom of the fourth. Houston Street, the great reliever, will be coming up. Look forward to talking to him, and we'll be back with the bottom of the fourth in just a moment.
Welcome back to Omaha. We're going to the bottom of the fourth. South Carolina leading 3-2, but we are now joined, Mike, in the booth. What a pleasure with the good-looking All-American pitcher from University of Texas, Houston Street.
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Good to be sitting up here.
Congratulations on the win today. As Georgia was eliminated and you guys go 3-0 to advance to the championship series, really sets up your starting pitching. Everybody gets a lot of rest now.
Yeah, we're in a good position. We were going after that game today. We didn't want to have to play tomorrow, and it worked out well, and our hitters picked us up today.
Now, you're in an unusual position sometimes as a closer. We get so used in Major League Baseball to see guys come in, pitch only the ninth inning, maybe one batter in the eighth. They don't use you that way. When they want to bring you in, they bring you in.
Yeah, Coach has a lot of confidence in every guy in our bullpen, and sometimes he asks to extend us. And today was one of those days. He usually warns us before the game that, I might be looking to you early. And, he called me early today, and luckily I got it done. Or we got it done.
Well, talking with Coach Tanner, he coached on the USA Tour last year with the USA team last summer, and he said you went 8 2/3 in one game last year, and you wouldn't come out, and then you wanted the ball some more. What's that all about?
It's just one of those situations where it's like this. You're playing for a championship, and hold on. Sorry.
Oh, you're all right. They can see, they can see on TV.
Yeah, I'm watching it distracted. But you're playing for. I was playing for my country right then, and it was. You don't want to go out there and let your teammates down. And today it got a little close, and just in that situation, our hitters picked me up in that game, and they picked me up today.
The hitter is Felipe Garcia, leading off the bottom of the fourth for Cal State Fullerton. They're down 3-2, and something very unusual happened today. You gave up a run.
That happens. That happens when you face good teams. And,
not very often.
Well, I don't want it to happen.
Not for you.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen. But, give credit to Georgia. Every time I missed a pitch, I didn't hit my spot, they hit it well. And, that's how it's going to go sometimes. But like I said, I wanted to make sure once they scored that run that we got back in there with a share of the lead. And that was my focus, was to just look past them scoring the run and then let my hitters do what they've done all day and all tournament, which is score another run.
You have such an athletic family. Of course, people, I think, know the story about your dad, who was a great wishbone quarterback at Texas, also a very good baseball player. Strike 3 call to Garcia. Now, Harold wants to take a look at the end of the ball game earlier today.
Well, Mike was talking about an athletic family you come from. Down the stretch here, now you're going to get this ball hit in the corner. What were you thinking here?
I was nervous. I was real nervous. I was just praying for the wind to blow up foul.
But here's the athletic family, the athleticism that comes in, and that's a family trait. Played third base last year. You're feeling like an infielder up there. I mean, incredible athletic ability.
That's
genes, or are you that good?
That's something my dad always taught me, was on the mound, be ready to field your position, because you are another fielder once you let go of the ball. And that's one of those plays where you just kind of stab at it and it finds your glove. And then and I wanted to make sure I made a short throw to Curtis and just get that thing over there as easy as I could.
Now, your freshman year you were here, you were playing third base, you closed the game out in championships. You missed third?
The fielding and playing on 9, not the hitting. You hit 176. And
come on, everybody likes to hit.
Yeah, well,
I guess 176 didn't help it.
No.
Let me get back to your family a second. Your dad was such a great football player at Texas, a legend there. You go to the University of Texas. Now, you've got younger brothers who are also on their way to Austin.
Yeah, Jordan and Justin they signed this fall, and they're going to be playing baseball. So they're battling ACL injuries right now. They're going to be coming back from that, but I'm excited for them. I think I'm more excited for them than they realize, just because they don't realize how lucky they are.
Both pitchers?
Both of them pitchers, and Jordan's also an outfielder.
And then you have a younger brother as well.
Hanson is 16.
And where's he going to go?
Hopefully Texas.
Now, Texas has some ties. I know Augie's real close to Kevin Costner in Hollywood, and you come up here smiling, got the nice-looking teeth, the good-looking face. Kevin been calling you, looking for some movies?
I don't think he needs me for any movies.
You're not getting red, are you? You're not getting embarrassed. You got all kinds of antics, too, man. Where you come up with all those different things you're doing out there?
Half that stuff you don't even realize you're doing. I definitely don't realize I'm doing it. Sometimes I watch myself, I'm like, man, you look goofy out there, but you know, it's just a routine and it's something you feel comfortable with.
Well, here's a look at you out here. I mean, take us through the pulling the hat. You're sticking the tongue out. You trying to psych out the batter or what?
That's
kissing the sky. I mean, jeepers, man.
I'm saying
you haven't even thrown the ball yet.
No, I usually just I say a prayer right before I get on the mound, just to ask for strength and courage. And the tip in the cap thing is I think just a nervous habit. I don't know why I do that. I don't even realize I do that.
Pelletieri couldn't check his swing. It's 1-1. And Pedroza down at first after a walk, 1-on-1 out, the tying run at first for Cal State Fullerton. You see the numbers on Pelletieri, 357 for the season. Another throw over to first. I want to ask you one thing about your pitching style. I can't ever remember anybody taking that big first step in the windup all the way to the side of the mound and then being able to get their balance back.
Yeah, that's just something I think that really developed once I changed my arm angle. I used to step straight back, but it's more of a deception type thing where but then again, I don't realize I'm doing it. It's just one of those things where you're just out there trying to, you want to be comfortable, and it's just kind of worked itself into my motion.
So Houston, what does the team feel like? And as we get a little
runner goes, a hit and run right through the hole. Beautiful piece of hitting by Pelletieri, and on his way to third is Pedroza. First and third, one gone.
Got beat by the shift that time with the right-handed hitter that went ahead and elected to have the shortstop covering either the pitcher mislocation or just a good piece of hitting. We'll take a look and see. But you see the shortstop breaks, that ball just out over the plate. He hammered it through. There's the coverage. You see the shortstop break. On a hit and run, you youngsters out there, all you want to do is hit the ball hard. Wherever it's pitched, hit it hard on the ground. That's what Pelletieri did. Now, I want to ask you, I was getting ready to ask you a question. What's it like for your team and for you to come here and be on TV and the coverage? What do you guys think of all that?
It's exciting. This is, I mean, Omaha is a place where I think we expect ourselves to be every year at Texas. But I mean, this is what it's all about.
You want to give it a go at broadcast, and I'll let you work with Mike. I'll sit back. You be the analyst for a little bit.
That was Neil Walton squared around. Could have been a safety squeeze. There's Eric Hempy, the left-hander, warming up.
Houston,
you're
the pitcher in this situation. What are you thinking? First and third,
I'd probably tell my catcher if he squares around like that, I'm throwing a high fastball to get a pop.
Bunted in the air, and an easy play at first base for Steve Pierce.
Well, it's a good call.
Yeah, well, that's something that you have to be ready for, and I always, Taylor and Curtis are real good at. They know the situation before I've even thought about it, and so they're usually walking out there just like Landon is now, but you have to plan that beforehand so that they're ready if that guy takes off. And we had a situation like that in the Super Regional where I told Taylor if they squeeze right here, I'm throwing a high fastball, but if I'm throwing a slider, you just stick with your slider because you don't want to get too crossed up, and that's trying to do too much right there.
So you got a situation there, so you automatically, as soon as the ball's being delivered, you know you want to go high. As soon as you see him square around, you want to go with the high.
Yeah, you want to go high fastball just because usually they're gonna offer it. They're trying to get it down, and if he takes it, then it's a ball, but they're not going to get the squeeze down.
All right, so much for baseball. The puka shells, man. What's the deal with that? That's coming back in fashion.
I guess so. We don't have anybody on our team that wears it, but maybe that's how they do it over there.
Well, as long as the leisure suits don't come back with them, we can deal with the puka shells, I think.
So what's the in style at UT? What do you guys try to do?
Austin's pretty laid back. We just jeans and a t-shirt. That's how we do it, I guess. I mean, not too fancy.
Right.
Comfortable. As long as I'm comfortable, I'm happy.
2 outs, runners at first and third, and Prettyman, the third baseman, stands in. He flew to left.
So Houston, you know, I'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about this. Your #1 draft pick, the Oakland A's, and a lot of people talking about you might even get a chance to go straight to the big leagues once you leave the College World Series.
That's something I'm excited about. You know, obviously I feel fortunate to be drafted not only by the A's but in the first round, and so. But that's also something that I'm going to kind of cross that bridge when I get there. Right now, our our focus, and there's a lot of guys on our team that have been drafted that are dealing with that, but it is the College World Series. But, you know, if I get a chance to play in the big leagues, that'd be exciting.
You've been in both scenarios. Is it easier to be drafted before the College World Series or once you've already been here and you know where you're slotted at?
I think it's better to know where you're going and to have it over with. Just to have it over with, and because I think so many times not only do you get distracted, but you know, the other guys on your team, they're interested and they're pulling for you, and so it kind of can become a team distraction if if the guys involved don't kind of take care of it. There it is. That's a
bunt down the third baseline. It's going to be a tough play. Did not get it. The run scores. It's tied. And look at the hustle by Cal State Fullerton. They end up with runners at second and third. What a bunt by Ronnie Prettyman.
Well, what great heads-up baseball, too. Knowing where the fielders are going to be at. He knows because he's a third baseman. The third baseman's got a charge on a natural rotation. The second baseman's going to break over, and there's not going to be anybody there to back up. You know, the bunt is great, but he looks around and he recognizes there's nobody at second, and it's a foot race between me and whoever picks it up and tries to get me.
Triplett made a nice play at third, but the throw was low in the dirt. They couldn't pick it. We're tied at 3.
Great play by Triplett, though. I thought there was no way there was going to be a play on that ball.
Me too.
He made it a play.
Well, Houston, you certainly deserve the status of that #1 draft choice.
Thank you.
We have had the privilege of watching you play out here, and most of the time when you come in, I mean, people just get up and start leaving. It's over.
I don't know about that. It's never over. I don't like to think that way, but you know, I like to battle out there. I have fun out here, and Omaha's a great place to play ball.
Prettyman, by the way, gets a bunt base hit, an RBI, and it's an error on the throw to allow the runners to advance. And now back to the top of the order to Justin Turner, who has a base hit tonight. High fastball. You know, really gone after some pitches out of the zone tonight.
Yeah, they really have, and been trying to be aggressive again. And Turner started it all off with a great at-bat in the first inning. Houston, I was going to say, you may not even be the most popular person on your campus, and it may not be an athlete. You went there with the president's daughter.
Yeah,
what was that like?
Well, I knew her in high school, so she's a very nice girl, and you know, she's got a lot of pressure on her being in that situation. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that.
You have secret servicemen all the time.
You see them following her around, and you kind of keep your distance.
2-1 to Turner. Gets a high strike call, 2-2. If you had the shot to go to the show immediately, hasn't worked out for a lot of guys to do that. Would you want to give it a shot?
Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah.
Silly question.
Yeah, pretty easy answer right there, but that's something that if that's an opportunity that presents itself, then I just kind of have to take it one step at a time, because that's a little different level up there. But you know, just kind of got to do your job and see what happens.
And your future employee, the Oakland A's, have done a lot with guys. As this one comes straight back toward us.
Got it.
Have done a lot with guys from college baseball. They're one of the teams that really thinks it gives them an advantage to take a 21, 22-year-old guy over an 18-year-old high school player.
Yeah, that was something I was pretty excited about. Just in they do promote from within pretty quickly, and you see in the draft every year that they do go with college guys that they're looking to produce real quick, and you see everybody drafted. And the guys that
Strike 3 call. But Cal State Fullerton gets a run to tie it up. Houston Street, thank you so much.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much.
to talk to you. All the best in the future.
Take care.
All right, buddy.
One of the best college baseball pitchers you will ever see. Our thanks to Houston Street. Back in a moment.
There is so much pressure with South Carolina as they go head-to-head with Cal State Fullerton at the College World Series. And Ken Ravizza, who is a professor at Cal State Fullerton, a sports psychologist, author of a baseball book. You work very closely with the Cal State players going back to your days with Augie Garrido when he was head coach at Cal State. What sort of things do you tell the players?
Work with them in understanding that in a situation like this, you're going to be uncomfortable, and learn to be comfortable with it, and giving them some tools to do that so they have something to go to, so that when they're in those pressure situations, they got things they can do to deal with it.
little mini toilet in the Fullerton dugout to help flush away some of the bad plays or mental mistakes they make. Is that sort of thing you have in mind to help them get past that?
Yeah, we talk a lot about one pitch at a time. You hear it all the time in baseball. Well, we really work on a way to do one pitch at a time, that the players got to be in control of themselves. They got a lot of stuff, they got to let it go. That's what the mini toilet's about, to flush it, let it go, get to the next pitch, be clear on what you're trying to do, and trust what you got.
You've worked 6 different Olympic games. You work with Major League Baseball players, the Anaheim Angels. How do these Fullerton players match up with the others in terms of taking your advice?
Oh, they're great. I mean, the coaching staff reinforces it. The players are into it. I mean, at the college level, it's a great game. No question about it.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Michael?
All right, Dave, thanks very much. Harold, how often would you have used that?
Not very, no. My brother Don's probably ready to kill me. He's a sports, he's got his counseling guidance. He's been with a bunch of Major League teams, played Major League Baseball himself. I think the big thing is having vision, you know, and being able to set goals. I think that's important.
1-1 to Davy Gregg, leading off the 5th inning for South Carolina. Now in a 3-3 tie, lined right at the left fielder, Danny Dorn.
Boy, Houston Street did a great job, didn't he?
He was terrific.
Young man coming up here and just handled himself really well. Pleasant young man.
You know what? We could keep him here, send you to the A's. You want to try it all over again as a relief pitcher?
That's what I told him. My arm might fall off, but if I can have his arm, I'll go do it.
Yes, sir. Me too.
I can't remember the movie right now. I was thinking about the quarterback that came back.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of it either, but I know what you're talking about.
Fletcher was the quarterback.
Let me ask you a question. If you had one piece of advice to give to a Houston Street first-round draft choice, all the talent in the world, going to the major leagues, what would you tell him?
Well, once he signs his big bonus and all that, I would tell him to buy a house, buy some real estate, take care of it, and then go from there.
That's good.
You know, I mean, you're set for life. You do the things financially, and now you can relax and go ahead and play the game. And then relax. You know, the main thing for him after that is just relax and don't try to do too much. He's going to be a great player.
Or just take that bonus check and go out and have the greatest weekend of your life. Or of anybody's life.
I'm still thinking about that movie. I'm going to come up with it.
Triplet grounded to short. Walton, who's made all the plays, makes another one. 2 gone.
It just can't. Heaven can wait.
Heaven can wait. That's right. Quarterback comes back. Texas has advanced to the championship final. Best 2 out of 3, which starts on Saturday afternoon. 3-0 in the 1 bracket. And South Carolina trying to keep Cal State Fullerton from doing exactly the same thing. The Titans, if they win tonight, they would go to 3-0. They would advance to the College World Series to face Texas starting Saturday. Ripped down to third and picked. Prettyman throws him out. Almost ate him up. Somehow it found his glove. 1, 2, 3 here in the 5th. Tied at 3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th at the College World Series. South Carolina in an elimination game against Cal State Fullerton. There is Clark Hardman, the center fielder, the freshman, who will lead it off here in the 5th inning. Let's take you back to the game against Miami. Great diving catch, stretching out in right center field. We've talked about catchers having to have a quality catcher to get out here. You better have a good center fielder too. And baseball, for the most part, you got to be strong up the middle. You have to have a shortstop, a center fielder, a catcher.
You really do.
If you don't have those, forget it.
And this young man hitting right here, Hardman's got maybe the best arm of all the outfielders here at the College World Series. He has got a gun.
He is sacrificed and flied to right. 2 for 10 in Omaha. Jason Fletcher on for his 5th inning of work. The starter, who was 5-1 coming in, only pitched 49 2/3 coming into the World Series. This popped up on the infield. Tollison, the shortstop, 1 gone. Now let's see how careful they will be with Kurt Suzuki.
This is a time when those star players step up. In a game like this, he hasn't done much. Had a check swing his last at bat. This is a dangerous AB right here.
And you can tell, they said this morning in our meeting, the frustration is sinking in a little bit. And after a check swing rollout, you know he's ready to just grip right through that bat.
86 RBIs. Wow.
And he may not see anything to hit this at bat either.
Well, he's just got to stay patient. You know, the first game he hits a couple balls hard and then he panicked on himself. He's just got to stay patient, keep swinging the bat.
That one smoked to left. Is it deep enough? It is not. Right at Campbell on the warning track, 2 out.
Just got in on him a little bit right there. The outfielder's playing awful deep in this situation. They don't want to have him get a double, but it got in on him a little bit. He hardly even had to move and go back. He thought he got it.
And you can see the frustration from Suzuki. And now Danny Dorn, who was 0 for 2, including a strikeout with nobody on, 2 out here in the 5th. Dorn, not a power guy, only 4 home runs this year. Fouls this one straight back.
These left-handers have had a tough time with this motion. You know, pointed out early in the game, and they just have not caught up to Fletcher's motion.
I think you made a great point. His step toward the left-hander's batter's box on his delivery. Danny Dorn, double D. He's a gap hitter, occasional power, but the number's down from a year ago. Expectations is what all these kids live with, and all these stellar programs live with. As the fans of these schools, if you don't win the College World Series, it's a bad year. Dorn hits it to straightaway right. Wynn drifts to his right and makes the catch. Quickly 3 up, 3 down. And all 3 balls in the air off of Jason Fletcher. We have played 5 full in Omaha. We're tied at 3.
Welcome back to Omaha. We've got a tight ball game, and you know what, Mike? When there isn't a game going on, there's so many things happening outside in the corridor, and one of the things you can do is get your own bat personalized made. Well, we had an ESPN bat done. Now it takes about 15 minutes to speed it up for TV. And it's the same thing they do for Major League Baseball bats, and we got all the different vendors out here around the place. This is my own personal Tony Gwynn bat.
I was going to say, why doesn't it say Harold Reynolds?
Well, you know, I didn't win 8 batting titles, so I didn't really want my bat. I told him I want one of Tony's. I'm taking this one back home to Connecticut with me.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Big inning here for pitcher Mike Martinez. He will face the heart of the order, Pierce, Powell, and Melillo. The guys with so much power. Pierce 21 home runs, Powell 19, Melillo with 9. And Pierce hitting a crisp 500 here in Omaha, 7 for 14.
Well, we featured him in the open, and just like Suzuki, he just missed the ball, and Suzuki's at bat. This is when you worry about the big guys.
Goes after a low fastball and couldn't get it. 1-1.
This young man generates a lot of bat speed, man. And Pierce.
You don't hit 21 homers without it. Inside fastball is smoked, foul outside third. If you're going to come inside, come way inside.
Yeah, you better not leave it over.
This guy is a pull hitter with excellent power. Martinez only had the 1 bad inning. Hung a breaking pitch, line to left. Dorn got a late break on it. Looked like he couldn't make up his mind. Is he going to try for the shoestring catch and maybe give up an extra base hit or lay back?
A lot of tough reads, and with the aluminum bat, outfielders have a very difficult time because of the sound. It sounds the same basically on every swing. And that was a good-looking swing, as you see with the naked eye, but he caught it off the end, but the sound still sounds the same. That sounds just like the balls that are flying out of the ballpark, and Doran had a little hesitation of, man, that sounds pretty good. Can't say he got good wood on that one.
Right. And now Martinez will have to face Landon Powell with one on and nobody out here in the South Carolina 6th inning. Keep in mind, this is a team that scored 30 runs in the last 2 ball games after being shut out in their opener by Cal State Fullerton. The numbers on Landon Powell. That is Landon's girlfriend.
Landon's doing pretty good.
What a life. Down in the dirt, blocked by Suzuki.
Conversation here. Coming to the mound.
We talked about South Carolina's ability to hit the ball. And they have one big stick after another. Pierce, 21-69. Powell, 19-66. Wynn, 19-69. Then you go down to Campbell with 14-52. Here in the College World Series, 2 home runs out of that group, 12 driven in. Of course, the numbers skewed a little bit when you get 30 runs in 2 ball games. Got some more on Powell from Dave Ryan. David.
Well, we see him hitting from the left side here, Mike. We talked about it on the air a little bit last night. When he was 10 years old back home in North Carolina, his dad, Ron, built Landon a batting cage in the backyard. Every day, he took at least 100 swings. He's a natural right-handed hitter. One day, he started practicing hitting left-handed so he could get a little more versatile. Went up to 150 swings a day, 100 from the left side, 50 from the right. Now, guys, get this. Kept the poster chart in his room for all his swings. He started practicing more every day. By winter's end, he had 24,000 swings logged, 15 from the left side and 9,000 from the right. He still has that poster back home, studying hitting at a pretty early age and leading to success all the way here to Omaha.
That's a ton of work. Got some major calluses built up as a youngster, didn't he?
Kidding, man. Dedication at an early age.
Dave Serrano, the pitching coach, came out to talk to Mike Martinez. Fastball missed on the corner. Danger time right here for Martinez. Falling behind 3-0. Missed with a fastball. Didn't want any part of Landon Powell. Now he has 2 on and nobody out. And there is some action in the Cal State Fullerton bullpen. Going to have to wipe off the cobwebs down there.
Well, you're not kidding. But if they're going to win this whole thing, not just tonight's game, and if they continue to advance, they're going to have to get some help out of that bullpen. And if you're South Carolina, that's a pleasant sign to see guys warming up in that pen. That's got to be your game plan going into the game. You got to get in that bullpen.
Because they have not been very effective.
Be interesting here in this situation if they decide to bunt. First and second, no outs. That's really not their style of play, although Melillo can handle the bat pretty good. So Tanner's got some freedom here.
Melillo squares to bunt, takes it for a ball. He's 1 for 2 with a single tonight. And now that we have reached the 6th inning, put a couple up here, it could be very, very important.
And I think you got to bunt this situation. Continue to put put pressure on the defense. If you got a guy that can handle the bat, you go ahead and put it down.
Squares again. There's a snap throw back to second base. And it's 2-0 to Melillo.
Here's the tough call for the coach. You go 2-0. You got a hitter at the plate. Do I take the bunt off? See this happen time and time again. The guy gets a pitch. He grounds it to a double play. Instead of staying with patience and staying with your same play. I think it's very difficult when you're not a team that bunts very often to all of a sudden change gears and say, all right, now we'll swing.
Plus, they're trying to give you an out. The pitcher can't get it over. There's a bunt. Got a shot at third. Takes it and got him. Nice play by Martinez. Got to the ball quickly, never hesitated. Fired to third for the force.
Well, I like the effort. I like the play. I still think it's a good idea. He just didn't get the ball down to the third baseman. Nice job by Martinez. And this, remember, he's a former shortstop. He was the starting shortstop a couple years ago, and he shows it right here, bouncing off the mound. Great athletic play.
You saw earlier the right-hander in the Cal State Fullerton bullpen was Brunix, and Schreppel the lefty. And looks like a cut on the knee there. Schreppel the left-hander, Brunix the right-hander. Seldom used bullpen, especially in the playoffs. And now Wynn stands in, struck out his last time up. He is also singled. Martinez trying to get out of a 6th inning jam here.
It's a huge play, and what an advantage to have another fielder out there in the pitcher who can field his position.
Now a double play would get them out of the inning if they can induce a ground ball. Instead, hit in the air to left. Dorn going back, has a beat on it, will make a catch. And advancing to third, Landon Powell, but 2 out. So Martinez started the inning with a single and a walk. Now he's recorded 2 outs and has runners at first and third for Michael Campbell.
See, this is an interesting play here, Mike, too, with the base running on this. I have to look at it again and see why he's tagging up. But in this situation, 1 out, you want to go halfway. And obviously, he did a nice job. He saw the left fielder was going to catch it, and he got back and tagged up. So that was good base running by Landon Powell. A lot of times, they go back and stand at second base. That ball falls, you're not scoring. You got to go halfway. If you see he's got it under control, then you go back like Landon did, and then you can advance.
Campbell 0 for 2, lined into a double play and struck out. The lead run is Powell down at third. Hitting the air down the right field line. Pedroza drifts over, makes the catch. Mike Martinez got out of a big jam here in the 6th. We are still tied at 3, South Carolina and Cal State Fullerton. Back at the College World Series in Omaha, we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Cal State Fullerton trying to advance to the weekend championship series against Texas. South Carolina trying to stay alive. They need to win tonight. That would force a rematch here between these same 2 teams tomorrow night. And Cal State Fullerton just got out of a big jam in the top of the 6th. And now they'll have the 5, 6, 7 men in the order to face Jason Fletcher. Grounded towards short. Tollison. We've seen some good shortstop play the entire series.
Well, I think you nailed it a couple innings ago when you were talking about the center fielder and being up the middle. And especially in college baseball, the shortstop, and as we've seen, a ton of catchers, an abundance of catchers, obviously with the high draft picks, but they've handled the game well. And those are the 2 with the most responsibility, particularly in this game. The coaches are more controlling. They call pitches and they allow you to do different things. The shortstop and the catcher play a big role in that responsibility and executing for the coach.
Sergio Pedroza stands in. I'm surprised the second baseman, because View doesn't get more credit as a key player in any defense.
Well, he's key, but as far as the college game, you know, the catcher's the one who looks at the coach, gets the signs, the shortstop's running the defense. I'm not going to slight the second baseman when it comes to it. I have to change up a little today.
Fastball for a called strike, 1 and 2 to Sergio Pedroza, bottom of the 6th.
I love this kid's swing, man. Pedroza's got a beautiful stroke.
Lines this one to right. Win on the run, he'll get there.
Got him out in front on a changeup. got him out in front. And sometimes when you get off balance, that's all the pitching is. Get him off balance, and that's exactly what he did. You see, he had tried to wait, got a little bit extended.
Fletcher for South Carolina has already worked his second longest outing of the year. This is 5 2/3. He had gone 6 2/3 back in March. That was against Yale. So he is coming up big just when they need him. Here's Piloteri, who was 2 for 2, 5 for 10 in the College World Series. Turns on an inside fastball and fouls it. And you always have the unheralded stars stepping up out here. Somebody is going to be a hero, and it's not necessarily the marquee players.
Every year, every sport, doesn't matter.
Just missed. It was a good looking pitch. Fletcher, a junior college All-American for 2 years at Indian River. Skied down the right field line, Wynn toward the line, makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. Both pitchers settling in. We've played 6 full and tied at 3. We're tied at 3 as we go to the 7th. South Carolina and Cal State Fullerton as a Reds fan looks on here in Omaha, Nebraska. And these great pictures courtesy of the Monster.com cam as the sun is beginning to set over the rim of the stadium. Still have a lot of sun, particularly in right field and on the right side of the diamond. Still a tough sun field for the outfielders, especially when it's right over the crest of the stadium. And the cotton candy is always good. Not so much the hats, but the cotton candy's good.
The support is amazing of the parents and people that travel with the clubs.
Isn't it, though?
Cal State Fullerton has got a house across the street. That's the Fullerton house, the Titan house, and they go in there and have alumni parties and everything else. And most of the clubs do. Most of the teams have that.
The 8 and 9 men will lead it off here in the 7th for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Gardner and Gregg, and then back to the top of the order for Triplett. This ball's hit to deep center field. Hardman going back on the warning track and made the catch. Gardner's bid for an extra base hit.
Talk about center fielder's been able to run him down, and you know, I spoke of his arm strength, but he goes and gets this nice. But the positioning, Mike, that's what's unique, is that they don't play each other very often. But with television now and coaches are out here watching the games, they can scout, and we've seen a lot of balls hit at defenders.
Davy Gregg trying to bunt his way on. Nice stand by the pitcher. The throw it away down the right field line. Martinez made the play and then threw it away, and Gregg is on his way to third. That is a huge play.
Well, that was a great play by the pitcher, too. And had he flipped this ball underhand, he might have had a chance. He tried to stand up and flip it. And he was put a little bit too much on it, I think, for Piloteri to handle. This ball's a bunt single. It's by him, but great effort. And then right here, just flipped it a little bit wide and hard.
And Piloteri didn't have a chance at first. So a runner at third with only 1 out here in the 7th for the top of the order, Brian Triplett.
I had an instructor in Seattle named George Case, old man, years ago. And he always said, if a pitcher settled in, bunt, and make him get off the mound, you never know what's going to happen.
Well, that was great advice then and pretty good advice now.
They've had to draw the infield in, trying to cut off that run.
Gregg tried to make something happen and did. Triplett is homered in this ball game and now has 38 RBIs on the year to go with 8 home runs and has a chance to drive in the lead run here in the 7th. Chops this one foul. 1-1 to Brian Triplett, the senior.
Let's go, Brian!
There's his sister, Nancy. Nancy Weiss, her last name, hoping that her brother can get the big hit here.
He's the youngest of 8. I'm sure the other siblings are rooting him on too.
An excellent student. Fastball, foul, 1-2. Remarkable story about him, the youngest of 8 and the first of his family to graduate from high school. Lives in a rural area of South Carolina. It's the first error that Cal State Fullerton had made in the College World Series, by the way, and only their second in 77 innings. Grounded through the hole. A base hit and a 4-3 lead for South Carolina as Triplett comes through.
Well, that one error hurt him.
Sure did. It put the runner in scoring position.
Yeah, and not only that, it had to draw the infield in, and now all of a sudden, any little chopper is going to get through, and that's Triplett did. Nice piece of hitting by Triplett to put the ball in play and take your chances. Good effort, but even if he catches that ball, the run's going to score.
Sure. Now to Tollison. 4-3 lead for South Carolina in the visitors' half of the second inning. And Greg has scored twice in this game. He has 2 of the 4. Tollison 0 for 3 tonight.
If you look at it in big games, you always look to shut down the bottom half of the order. If you're able to shut down the bottom half, then you got a chance, because the big boys are going to get there.
Absolutely. Season high 3 RBIs in a single game tonight for Triplett. Nice bunt by Tollison. Shouldn't have even made the throw. They had no play. Prettyman came up with it, but Tollison runs pretty well and runners at first and second.
Element of surprise. I think he caught everybody off guard, because this is a club that doesn't bunt a whole lot. This young man's been around a lot of baseball, and he picked up the situation and went ahead and dropped one down. You know, that's one of the advantages you have when you grow up around Major League Baseball. You see situations, and Coach Tanner was the first one to tell you, he sees things that other kids don't see.
Nice block by Piloteri to prevent the ball from going down the line and creating any further damage. And now Dave Serrano wants to come out and talk to Martinez, who has to be a little shaken by what has happened in this inning with a pair of base hits on bunts and his poor play, throwing the ball away, allowing the runner to go to third and eventually score.
It's equivalent to a timeout in a basketball game when the other club's got a rally. That's all he's doing is slowing him down. He's not taking him out of the ball game. He's giving the bullpen a chance. He's settling down his pitching. You know, he saw 85 pitches. He isn't done yet.
No, I don't think so. And they do not want to go to that bullpen. It has not served them well. Fullerton starting pitchers have been the story of the College World Series. Windsor with a 3-hit shutout in the opening game. Then Romero comes back and gets his 5th complete game of the year. Gives up only 3 runs and wins. Tonight, Martinez has allowed 4 runs and has now given up 10 hits, 2 of them bunt singles here in the inning. And now you've got the big bangers, Pierce and Landon Powell on deck. Still only 1 out.
Well, you're looking to get a double play ball if you can get anything. That's a big strike right there, that fastball. And now you can come back and get a ground ball, maybe get him to roll over a breaking pitch and get a double play. That's what you're looking for if you're Fullerton.
Pierce is 2 for 3 and 8 for 15 in Omaha. He's just tearing it up. Even his outs, he's hit them hard. This one's lined but hooking into the seats. 0-2.
A little speed on the bases, and it's the heart of the lineup. This is a very difficult situation right here for Martinez to have to pitch out of.
Couldn't be any more difficult with all the power he's facing here. Pierce, one of the best power hitters in all of college baseball, 21 homers, 69 RBIs. That one's in the dirt. Nice block by Suzuki. When you've got a guy like Suzuki, you can throw pitches down there and have all the confidence in the world that he's going to stop it.
Well, it helps to have a guy like this to block the ball. Now, the other thing Suzuki does in this situation, we saw him pick a runner off first base, first and second, the other day. So he will throw and pick up that back runner to get an out any way they possibly can.
1-2 to Pierce. Threw into left field for a base hit. They'll send the runner. Here comes Triplett to the plate. The throw is cut off, and it's a 2-run lead. Pierce is just a base hit machine.
Good piece of hitting. He got the breaking ball that he wanted to get a ground ball on. It's just in the wrong spot. Found a hole, and as a result, it's an RBI and a run. And Triplett, he comes diving home. I don't think you'll see me doing that up there on the demo.
At least not at that speed.
No.
And now Dave Serrano just doesn't have much of a choice. Ryan Schreppel, the left-hander, will come out of that much maligned Cal State Fullerton bullpen and take over for Mike Martinez, who cannot finish the 7th inning. And a nice hand for Martinez as he leaves. In the third start of our year, came in with a record of 8-2. A pair of runs for the South Carolina Gamecocks here in the 7th, and they lead it 5-3. We're in the 7th inning with South Carolina in an elimination game, leading Cal State Fullerton 5-3. And if it stood this way, we would have another game tomorrow night, and whoever meets Texas would still be up in the air. It would be at 7 Eastern, these same two ball clubs, if South Carolina goes on to win tonight. Otherwise, Cal State Fullerton would advance to the weekend series against Texas. But right now, the Gamecocks with that upper hand. So we'll either be back with you at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, or we'll be with you Saturday for the start of the best of 3 College World Series Championship Series. And here's Ryan Schreppel. 21 games this year, ERA of 6.16. More hits than innings. And one advantage of having him in here, he turns around Powell to hit right-handed instead of lefty. Easier to double off if he can do, or double him up if he can get that done. Double and a walk tonight for Landon Powell. Ball's a ground out to third. You know what he's thinking? Looking for home run number 20 to break this thing open. Fastball downstairs from Schreppel.
Well, you heard Dave Ryan talk about thousands of swings this young man has taken from both sides of the plate. So
fans are very proud of this South Carolina program. 3rd year in a row they've been to the College World Series. 8th overall. Missed with another fastball. And Powell being very patient up there, looking for something he can yank.
They've got an incredible following. I mean, it's almost like a Major League Baseball team. I was talking to a buddy of mine, Jonathan Smith, who lives down there in South Carolina. And, you know, they're watching the games, they're reading the newspapers, they follow this club like it's the big leagues.
2-0 to Landon Powell. Up and in. 3-0. Now do you give the big guy the green light?
Well, the other day I talked with Coach Tanner, and he said, I asked him, will you give 3-0 green light? He said, yes. I like to let him swing the bat. He likes to hit. He's going to let him go. Plus, he trusts him. He's known Landon for a long time. He's trusting that he'll get a pitch to hit.
So for Ryan Schreppel, you do not want to throw your best batting practice fastball. Inside corner, called strike. Good pitch on 3-0.
Sure was.
Where to put you? Where to put you?
3-1 to Powell. 2 on. 1 out. South Carolina's already pushed 2 home here in the 7th.
They got him held up, too. Oh, had that been a strike, Pierce was running and Tollison stopped. And that's why Coach Tanner is shaking his head.
Boy, is he ever. Low for ball 4, but you're right. That was going to be an easy play.
Now watch Pierce at first. He's going to take off. Tollison stops. And they would have had out easily. Somebody hung up on that. If you're the trail runner, you have to run with your head up and you watch the lead guy. Even though Tollison bluffed, you still got to keep your eye on him. You can't run in that situation.
Bases loaded for Melillo, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Ball 1 in the dirt. No place to put him. Schreppel's got to get the ball over the plate.
Well, it's interesting where Pelletier is playing. He's playing way up. I would think he'd be back a little bit, but he's thinking about cutting off the run. But that ball gets by him. That's 2 easy runs.
Went after a high fastball up around his eyes. Tonight, 4 out of 8 with runners in scoring position. Twice as good as the Titans. Only 2 of 8. If you saw him swing at the high fastball, you come back with it?
Absolutely.
There it is, up and in.
Right now, I think Schreppel's just trying to throw a strike.
I do too. Two and 1 to Melillo. Ball 3.
Well, here's the problem that you have when your starters go so long in games. You don't get a whole lot of experience out of that bullpen. They just haven't had the opportunities.
Well, they haven't done very much with the opportunities they've had either. Which comes first?
Right, but time and time again, when somebody makes their first appearance in Omaha, the heart is pumping.
You're right.
Not able to throw the strikes, and it's a tough situation to come into a ball game.
3 and 1. Took something off, and it's a pop-up behind the plate, and Suzuki makes the 2nd out of the inning. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if that was a change, but Schreppel did not throw his best fastball. He just wanted to get that over.
Yeah, and he missed this ball, and that's a big pitch. That's a huge out in the inning. He's struggling, he's missing spots, and he threw a ball right there, and he just missed it, fouled it straight back. When you foul a ball straight back, that shows you he just missed it.
Now 2 outs with the sacks loaded for Brendan Wynn, who has a hit in 3 trips. Schreppel just hoping he can get out of this inning only down by 2. That was a changeup. Good pitch for a swinging strike.
Now you see the right-hander in the bullpen, but again, Mike, I think this decision comes down to familiarity with the mound. You know, at least you got Schreppel in there now. He's been in there. Nolan has not even seen the mound.
1 and 1 to Brendan Wynn. These South Carolina Gamecocks can hit coming into this one after being shut out by Cal State Fullerton. They scored 30 runs in 2 games, so it's not surprising they have put up 5 against the number 3 Cal State starter and Ryan Schreppel in relief. Foul outside third. 1 and 2, so Schreppel is ahead in the count.
But he feels like he's behind. You know, you get that feeling? He's ahead of the hitter, but it seems like he's behind the hitter.
Well, anybody that has ever played has been in a situation where you stand there and think, oh, please, please, just let me have this one. 1 and 2 to Win. Wanted him to chase that high fastball.
Good idea. I like the thought pattern. See if they come back here with another high fastball or the changeup. I think it's going to be one of those two pitches.
I think he wants to try to make this the decision pitch. You go to 3 and 2. You give the runners that extra advantage of being able to start with the pitch. Fastball right down the middle and struck him out. Nice recovery by Schreppel. He leaves the bases loaded. After a base on balls, he gets a pop foul and a strikeout to get out of the inning. But the Gamecocks put up 2, and they lead at 5-3. Mid-7th, College World Series in Omaha. Back at the College World Series in Omaha, bottom of the 7th, South Carolina has taken the lead.
Well, you see the deep breath. Dave Ryan did the whole story on it, getting a chance to breathe. But here's what I like, is the fastball. We're talking about this all week long. 2 and 2, when you throw a fastball in that situation, the hitter is still thinking, I've seen his changeup, I've seen his curveball. He's not 100% sure that you're going to get a fastball. All of a sudden, that 85 looks 90. Now, when you go 3-2 and you got that same fastball, that 85 looks 80 because he's keyed in on a fastball.
Here's Blackwell, great relief pitcher in the same mold as Houston Street, very reliable. He's won 4 games, saved 19. Saved 19 games in a 60 to 70 game schedule. You're doing something.
And they're going for the shutdown right now.
He is the side armor. He'll start with the number 8 man, Neil Walton, the sophomore shortstop. Backdoor breaking ball for a called strike. Let's go to Dave Ryan. David?
Well, Mike, there's a reason Neil Walton is the full-time starting shortstop for Fullerton, and sometimes coaches have to endure losing players to injuries. Usually they are baseball-related. Blake Davis got hurt playing ball, wiffle ball, that is. He was the Titans' regular shortstop throughout much of the year. Between the regional and super regional, Blake involved in an intense game of wiffle ball. Rounding third on a base hit, he slipped and separated his shoulder. He's here, but he can't play in the College World Series, and I talked to him a few minutes ago. Surgery not necessary. Obviously upset not to be playing, but he should be back soon for Fullerton down the road.
Wouldn't that break your heart? Just break your heart.
Freshman, too, starting all year. You talk about going to the College World Series.
Strike 3 called. Pretty pitch, and Neil Walton down on strikes for the first out.
When you talk about pretty pitch, this is a great slider. Starts right at the hitter and is going to bust back over the plate. He throws so many things at you: arms, elbows, knees, feet, and he drops that on you. I talked with him before the game. He was excited for an opportunity to maybe get in this ball game.
Prettyman, the left-hander, stands in. Then back to the top of the order to Justin Turner. So the big sticks for Cal State. Fullerton will get another opportunity to bat either here or in the 8th inning. Sails high and outside, 2-0.
His windup reminds me of somebody. I'm going to think about it. I'll figure it out here shortly.
High fastball popped to straightaway center. Greg camps under it. 2 gone.
The big difference in the game is you got to throw strikes, and that's what he's doing.
Wednesday night baseball continues here on ESPN2. After our game, the Oakland A's take the field against the Anaheim Angels. Some of you may see the Diamondbacks against the Padres. It's Wednesday night baseball presented by Bank One on ESPN2. We invite you to stay tuned for that. It is 8:23 local time here in Omaha on Wednesday night.
And Mike, guess who's in first place in the American League West?
Who is that?
The Texas Rangers. Not one of those two teams. That is an amazing story.
Especially when you trade away a guy most people think is the best player in the American League. Long throw from short. Got a nice play by Tollison. Back in the hole and showed you a big arm.
Sure did. No stride, just set himself nice and got rid of that ball.
3 up, 3 down quickly as Blackwell dominates in the 7th. It's still 5-3 South Carolina. Nice play by Tollison. We're at the College World Series in Omaha. It's 5-3 South Carolina, and the attendance, another record tonight, 28,216, the all-time record for any session at the College World Series, and 4 of the top 6 have been set this year, and we've had 192,483 through this game of the College World Series. We are going to go well over 250,000 before it's done.
It's incredible. It continues to get better every year. Great coverage, obviously, here at ESPN. A lot of people watching it. Our totals are up. Our numbers are up. And people watching the game all over the place. Baseball is back and fashionable as you look at the hat.
You're right. And when the ratings are up, we take all the credit in the world. If the ratings should drop off a little bit, it's somebody else's fault.
Producer.
Let's put Tom McNeely on record right now. Scott Johnson also has a lot to do with it, only if the ratings go down. He's our director. Top of the 8th, and Schreppel stays on to pitch the 8th. Came out of the bullpen.
I think he'll settle down this inning. He had a very difficult inning, got through it, but he hadn't been to the mound either.
Facing the bottom 3rd of the order, starting with Michael Campbell here in the 8th. Breaking pitch hit on the ground to Justin Turner at 2nd, 1 out.
Does a lot for your confidence too when you come in the middle of the lineup. The first guy you face is the All-American, and the coach decides to stick with you, and that helps.
1 out, nobody on in the South Carolina 8th inning. They lost their opening game to Cal State Fullerton 2-0. It was the 3rd straight year they'd been shut out in the opening game, but they came back to beat LSU 15-4 and Miami 15-11. Gardner, the DH, takes a fastball for a called strike. 1-1. They pounded out 35 base hits as well. 30 runs back-to-back days. South Carolina does it in 2004. Hadn't been done in 10 years before that, and hadn't been done in almost 40 before that. I would have thought LSU would have been on that list. It seemed like they were scoring 17 a day.
It did, didn't it? And days of gorilla ball. 2-1. Brad Cressy and crew.
Boy, could they launch. We had a couple of days with 20-mile-an-hour winds to left field, and the only question was, how far were you going to hit it?
That was before they started worrying about tapering down the bat, too. I remember walking up there with Bam Bam's club and just standing there and saying, here we go.
Yep. Looked like they were holding onto aluminum tree trunks, and they could swing them.
Like a video game.
And just knocking balls off the scoreboard. And I don't know that college baseball's popularity would have continued to soar had that been the continuing trend. I mean, as much fun as people like to have watching home runs, when it's 19-17 every game and the game takes 4.5 hours, it sort of takes the basic elements of baseball out of it.
I totally agree. A lot of channel surfing then.
2-1 to Gardner. Fouls it straight back on the net. 2-2. It's fun watching Kenny Mayne retrieve foul balls, or try to this afternoon, that first game.
Oh, he did it again this afternoon. I saw him last night.
Right. He replaced a couple of the bat girls. They let, or the ball girls. They let him go out.
He's a nut, man.
called straight back again.
He had some funny lines in the game last night.
Oh, he's hilarious. Kenny, of course, hosting Sports Center. There's Kenny.
An emotional Kenny man.
Great sense of humor. You got to pay attention to every word he says because he's not going to tip you that it's funny. Oh, changeup struck him out. 2 gone here in the 8th.
It's a great changeup. And it takes a little while to get the feel for it. He fouled off a couple of his fastballs and came back and got him with a nice change. And you only throw that pitch if you got confidence that you're throwing strikes. He's settled down quite a bit. That's a great sign.
Davey Gregg with 2 out and nobody on.
Greg
Schreppel looks much more comfortable than the first couple of batters he faced, doesn't he?
He really does. You can tell. Greg has been he's been a pest down there in that 9 spot. Good at bats the other night. Tonight he swinging the bat pretty good again.
Had the great bunt base hit that led to the 2-run 7th.
Singled up the middle.
He's had 6 hits in the College World Series.
All right.
Fastball misses 3-0 to Gregg. More action in the Cal State Fullerton bullpen, that much maligned unit. But Schreppel really upholding the standards tonight. He's pitched very well. Fastball right down the middle.
Schreppel's got a good arm. I'm impressed.
When you have starters like this team, you don't get too many opportunities. Fastball for a called strike 2. You've talked about it so many times. We all have. First time you get to play in a College World Series. And for Schreppel, this is it. The other position players have been playing for their 3rd game. I mean, the butterflies, as somebody said the other day, have to be flying in formation. I mean, just got to be half scared to death.
That's good. I like that. Flying in formation. I think they may have found somebody they can go to.
I do too.
Some confidence.
Missed with a fastball that time, and Gregg is on again. Back to the top of the order for Triplett, who has a home run and a single to his credit tonight. Martinez, all in all, pitched pretty well for Cal State Fullerton. Went 6 1/3. Looked like he was tiring at the end and gave up 11 hits and 5 runs. Throw over to first, and it looks like Gregg slipped a little bit trying to get back. It's closer than it might have been.
A lot of times in college baseball, they'll use the jab step against the left-hander. You jab back towards towards first base and then go, or they'll go on first movement.
Triplett has swiped 7 this year. I'm sorry, Gregg. He has 14 stolen bases. He's their best Triplett to hitter.
Well,
Triplett's a young man who actually came into Ray Tanner and convinced him to give him a scholarship, let him join the ball club. He said, I'll be really good in this program. He was a good junior college player. Ray Tanner listened, and boy, he's been right. He lived up to his word.
The youngest of 8 usually know what they're talking about.
And they get the quick hands, too, going for one of those biscuits before they're all gone.
That's right. Well, being that I am one of the youngest of 8.
Yeah. Now here comes Dave Serrano. He wants to talk to his left-hander. And looking toward the bullpen, I think, to see if people are ready down there. Hendricks and Pistano are warming in the bullpen.
Well, Mike, talking about triplet, you know, since I am the youngest of 8, and I'm a little partial to somebody else who's the youngest of 8 kids.
Sure.
Let's take a look at what he's done. 3rd inning, just a no doubt about it home run. Put that on the monster blast at 380. And then the ground ball here, this kind of broke the game open and really started to turn it around for South Carolina. He has had a big night. This young man is very talented. He can play anywhere on the diamond. It looks like they're going to bring in a right-hander to face him. So we'll see how he approaches this new pitcher.
He'll have a chance to play professional baseball. Will Triplett, a 12th round draft choice of the Astros. And Vinny Pistano, a right-hander, will come in to pitch for Cal State Fullerton here in the 8th. We'll check him out in a moment.
Heating and Heil, a good combination.
We're in the 8th. We got a pitching change in a 5-3 game for South Carolina. And the Gamecocks have gone up by 2 late in this ball game. Mike Patrick, Harold Reynolds, along with Dave Ryan, our entire ESPN crew. Cal State Fullerton had the advantage coming in here tonight. They were 2-0. They win. They advance to the championship series against Texas. If they lose this game and there's a rematch tomorrow, who feels the most pressure?
Well, I think Cal State Fullerton's feeling the pressure. They're bringing their closer in right now. If they lose this game, and it's not the fact that tomorrow is that much pressure on them, I think it's because of last year. You know, Stanford came back, won 2 games, and that was already playing on the minds of the coaches. Dave Ryan opened up. He talked about that with Coach Horton, and they've already been thinking about that. So the pressure goes right back to them.
Plus the pressure of going to a bullpen that has been arguably unreliable this year. Their first 2 wins in the College World Series were complete games. Here are the numbers on Pistano. 45 innings, 52 hits, only 3 walks and 34 strikeouts, so he can get the ball over the plate. If South Carolina can win tonight, they would force Cal State Fullerton to be in the same boat with their pitching staff as anybody in the losers bracket faces. Cal State Fullerton has already said they would go back to Jason Windsor, who was brilliant in that first game. 24 scoreless innings in a row.
Well, you got to get to the championship bracket, and if you're thinking, well, why would they go to him and not wait for the weekend may not come.
That's right. You're always walking that fine line. If you end up saving somebody and you lose, he doesn't get to pitch anyway.
Absolutely right.
Besides, this would only be Thursday. You assume if he wins and you have a 3-game series against Texas, if you get to the 3rd, he'd be able to pitch Monday.
Right.
Another throw to first. They would have preferred to be able to wait until Saturday and have him as the pitcher. Fastball for a called strike, 1-2 to Triplett. He has 7 hits in the College World Series, and 3 of the 5 RBIs tonight have come off of his bat. That's a season high for him. He's driven in 39 altogether. Fouled away as the runner Davey Gregg was breaking for second base.
He's got a high motion. You can get a good jump on him. Comes down, holds, and takes a real high leg kick, and most closers do. What's surprising is they're usually not in situations where guys are going to run. They come in when the game's ahead, and everybody's afraid to run on them. This situation where the other team's ahead, put the pressure on him, take off.
Trying to keep an eye on Gregg over at first. As we said, the leading base stealer on this ball club with 14 in 19 tries. 1-2 to Triplett as South Carolina trying to add to its 5-3 advantage here in the 8th inning. An insurance run they would love to have.
See, came out of his game right there. He went to a little slide step instead of going. You got 2 strikes on the hitter. You got 2 outs. If he wants to run, let him run. Go ahead, get the out.
Got a great catcher in Suzuki who might throw him out anyway.
Got him. He's leaning. He got back in, but he was running.
Ooh. Is there any lonelier feeling than being picked off? 1-2 to Triplett, 2 out, a runner at first. Another throw.
See, I think you're paying too much attention to the base runner. Again, you got 2 strikes on the hitter. You had a 1-2 count. Now you got a 2-2 count.
And how many times have we seen it out here? You have several throws over to first. Your attention's distracted. The next pitch is fat right down the middle. Hit toward third. Prettyman will go to second for the force, and they get out of the inning. We will go to the bottom of the 8th. South Carolina hanging on to a 5-3 lead. George Horton of Cal State Fullerton probably reminding his club, even when they were 15-16, they never quit. They kept coming back. Here's an opportunity in the 8th. Let's go to Dave Ryan. David.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot here in the South Carolina dugout. Third base coach Jim Toman has got his eye on a can't-miss prospect. He is a really hot recruit who will be playing in South Carolina someday. Well, maybe not for about 13 or 14 years. It's Jim's son, Charlie Mack, who is 4 years old. Guys, since South Carolina arrived here on Thursday, Charlie Mack has been wowing the crowd. Look at the wristband, the eye black, the full uniform, carries a batting glove with him, sleeps with his glove. Watch this swing. Boom. Hitting tennis balls into the stands before the ball game tonight. He's got a great cut. Absolute can't-miss prospect. He is with his dad all the time at Sarge Fry Field for practices and games.
He's a prodigy. I mean, even more impressive than the swing. Did you see the throw?
Incredible. I was watching him the other day.
Hardman. Long fly to right, but right there, Brendan Wynn, 1 gone.
Mike, I'm telling you, I was playing catch with him, and he throws the ball as hard as he can from about 10 feet. It was like, come on, young man. Throws hard.
The 2 through 4 men. 0 for 8, 2 strikeouts, and a base on balls. That's it. And Suzuki hasn't seen many good pitches to hit. Lined out, grounded out, and walked in this game. And is 1 for 9 in the College World Series. This is a kid who came in hitting .429 on the season.
And I think sometimes when you're going through a stretch like that, and you look at the numbers, as a hitter, he's got to go back and say, I lined out 3 times to left field. I hit 1 ball into the wind, didn't go anywhere.
Tried to bunt his way on there, anything to get on base, because that's what they need is base runners right now, down 2.
Great idea in that situation. And he's a guy who handles the bat pretty good. He bunted a lot for them last year. So it's not like he's all of a sudden going outside his game and inventing something. Blackwell's impressive.
Yes, he is.
Great sliders, getting ahead of guys with the fastball.
That real whippy motion with the right arm. Fastball is hit to deep right, but Wynn has a beat on this one as well. Back near the track, 2 gone. So nobody's been able to get around on Chad Blackwell. Cal State Fullerton running out of opportunities. 2 gone, nobody on here in the 8th for the left-hander Danny Dorn. Remember, a South Carolina win would force a rematch tomorrow night, 7 Eastern. We would be here with you from Omaha, and these 2 teams would go at it again for the right to meet Texas starting Saturday.
Talking with the players from South Carolina yesterday before yesterday's game, in which they eliminated Miami, they felt like if they got to Cal State Fullerton, we can beat those guys 2 times. I mean, it was almost per man. They were very confident.
And as impressive as Windsor was in that opening game, they did not think he was close to being unhittable.
Well, you remember last night's game when they had that huge lead and Miami came back.
Right.
They were a batter away from having to bring Blackwell into that game. Tonight, he ran him out there as soon as they got that big lead. He said, I am not taking any chances. We're going right at it.
Tying run comes to the plate in the person of Felipe Garcia. And they want to come out and talk. Jerry Myers, the pitching coach, speaking to Blackwell. Garcia, not a lot of power, 6 home runs this year. But he's been hot in the College World Series. Only 1 for 3 tonight, but that's 6 for 10 out here. And a very unselfish ball player. They say that Garcia, they pinch hit for him in the first game because they didn't think he was swinging all that well. Didn't complain about it. Was the most vocal cheerleader for the pinch hitter. Then they started in the next game, came back with 4 hits. Another one of those ultimate team players that are so valuable. You don't think coaches love those guys?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It just makes everybody around him, not just the coaches, but everybody.
Ball 2 from Blackwell. Sergio Pedrosa would be next. And he is a left-hand hitter.
This is a dangerous situation because this young man is very hot.
Tried to check his swing on a high fastball and couldn't do it. That would have been ball 3. Slider 2-2. So Blackwell a pitch away from getting out of the inning.
Get a good look at Windsor. I was talking to coach before the game. He's just throwing his bullpen, getting his work in.
Pop to right. Brendan Wynn will record all 3 outs of the inning. We will go to the 9th. South Carolina leads Cal State Fullerton 5-3. Ninth inning, South Carolina leading Cal State Fullerton 5-3. Let's take a look at our Pontiac high-performance moment. Grounded through the hole. A base hit and a 4-3 lead for South Carolina as Triplett comes through. That was Brian Triplett's base hit, an RBI single. It gave South Carolina the lead. You better fear the chicken now. They're up 2. With 1 inning to play. Doing a lot of Maryland games, I'm used to the phrase fear the turtle. Now we have fear the chicken.
Back home in Oregon, it's fear the duck.
Fear the ducks.
Fear the beavers. I guess it's fear whoever, huh?
Fear whatever. There was a high school back in the mid-'60s somewhere that had the glorious nickname of the Fighting Chrysanthemums. I'd like to see Fear the Fighting Chrysanthemums on a t-shirt. Tollison will lead it off. Pistano in for his 2nd inning of work and relief. And they will not allow the mascot, a live rooster, in here, so everybody has all sorts of versions of fake mascots in the stands. Cued off the end of the bat, just inside the bag, and that's down the right field line. Tollison on his way to second with a stand-up double and a seeing eye ground ball.
That's what makes it difficult for pitchers pitching to an aluminum bat. That's a broken bat or a ground out right there. But because of the aluminum bat, it makes you a little bit stronger. He's able to fight this ball off. Watch where this ball is. He runs back in, gets in on him, he slices it. He doesn't even think he hit it that hard. And it sneaks by the first baseman and gets a double. That's the difference of aluminum and the wood.
And Piloteri never had a chance over at first, just inside the bag, down into the corner. So an insurance run down at second. Now the heart of the order. Pierce talking to Ray Tanner. Singled his last 3 times up and is now hitting 9 for 16 in Omaha.
This is a tough situation. Do you make him bunt, which they are right now, and get the man over?
He calls time.
He's setting up, looking how they're going to defend him. That's all he was doing right there. Now he's going to look at Coach Tanner and say, what do I do? If he's going to bunt away, you want to bunt the ball to the third baseman in this situation. Now remember, it's not a forced play, but that's the guy who's going to handle the ball. I think you let this young man swing in this situation. I don't say that very often.
He is one of the best power guys in the entire country. 21 home runs, 69 driven in. Got his 70th tonight.
You got a 2-run lead. I want him to drive the run in. I don't necessarily want him to give himself up, get the man over, any of that stuff. I want to let him have an opportunity to swing the bat.
Now, he did something when he called time or asked for time from the home plate umpire I know you don't agree with. I'll get to that in a second. Inside. Took one hand off the bat and asked for time. If the umpire doesn't grant you time, ball comes in, you can't swing.
Absolutely. And as a pitcher, anytime you see that, you just throw it. What's he going to do? Here's what you're talking about. He all of a sudden calls timeout, has to go back, put his hand back on the bat. He did it on the bunt play also.
You can only ask for time. It has to be granted. Crossfire on the inside corner. Nice pitch, 1-1. 0 for 16 the first time they faced Cal State Fullerton. Tonight, 8 for 16. A dramatic improvement, as you could ask for. And 4 of the 5 have been driven in by that group. Pierce with 5 RBIs in the series and a home run. Fouled that one straight back, 1-2.
Well, here's a bunt in the 7th inning to set this whole game up. I think it turned on this one play right here. Great effort by Martinez, and he threw the ball away. And Craig went it up all the way to third base, and he scored on Triplett's ground ball. That turned this whole game around.
Without that error, we still have a 3-3 ball game. In the dirt, blocked by Suzuki. But that's what happens in baseball. You put pressure on people and force them to make plays. If they don't, you get something big out of it. That's exactly what Greg did.
Yep. Now you see Tolleson at second base jumping around a lot. In this situation, you know Pierce is up there to do one thing, drive you in. So stand still, let him get a good read on the pitcher, and let him swing the bat.
You got to look at Mike Martinez, the young pitcher who made the error, attempted to pick off at second base. Boy, Martinez pitched better than I think they had any right to expect for that huge layoff that he had had.
Absolutely. He had 18 days off before he got to the mound tonight. That's a long layoff.
2-2 to Pierce. Fastball popped straight up. Suzuki, does he have room? And he overran it. The All-American catcher went back to the screen, and the spin took it back toward home plate. And another life for Pierce. And it's the last guy you want to give another opportunity.
Well, especially as hot as he is. When you're hot, these are the type of things that happen for you. Pierce missed a ball right down the middle, and Suzuki came hard.
Really trying to find the wall, took a couple of peeks at it and lost the ball.
Well, I've noticed year after year when these guys come to play in a stadium, they haven't played in a stadium before. They're not familiar with the currents of a stadium when the ball starts to come back. And we have seen a few catchers miss balls like that.
And there's usually so much more foul territory here than they're used to as well. Grounded towards short. Walton will check the runner and throw him out. So Pierce can't take advantage of the extra life. And a good pitching job by Pestana.
I still think you got to swing in that situation. I don't think he should be giving up in that bat. You got a 2-run lead. Go ahead and try to drive a run in. In the heart of the order, as hot as he's been, you take your chances.
I agree with you. Man's hitting over 500, hitting most everything he's hit hard.
You know, the one thing I would question is when he went up to show the bunt and look around and see the defense. Forget that. Just go up there, let him lock in on being ready to hit.
Landon Powell with a couple of walks and a double tonight. He is just behind Suzuki or Pearson power numbers this year.
The second baseman playing all the way out in right field, and we see this a lot in Major League Baseball. The fear is when that ball gets on the grass, all of a sudden you've lost the smoothness of a grounder.
Outside. And if it's anybody else but Powell, you say, boy, you drag a bunt, you can run for a week before they get to it. We're at the College World Series in Omaha, 9th inning. The Gamecocks of South Carolina with a 5-3 lead, trying to add to it. A runner at second and one out for Landon Powell, their senior catcher.
I was going to say they need to pitch him carefully. Now they're just going to put him on. Set up the double play.
They'll pitch to Melillo. You got to be really nervous messing with this guy. We've seen 4 or 5 hitters out here, including Pierce and Powell. If there's a way to put them on, you might as well put them on. Great shot of Rosenblatt Stadium from the Monster.com cam, set up across the street at the Henry Dorley Zoo. And we're at beautiful Rosenblatt, and it is the greatest show on dirt. These kids play so hard. And right now, South Carolina with a 5-3 advantage in the 9th. And now it's up to Melillo with 2 on and 1 out. Another left-handed batter to face the right-hander Pestano.
See, here's the other thing too. If you bunt Pierce in that situation, you take Powell's bat totally out of his hand. So you may as well take that shot for another guy to pick up a run.
Sure. Because they'll do to Powell exactly what they did to him in this situation.
Absolutely.
One and one to Melillo, who has a single tonight and 4 trips. Also has a sacrifice bunt, so officially 1 for 3. Fastball low, 2 balls and a strike to the junior second baseman.
And there's no stretch of imagination are they out of the woods. Melillo is tough. Not only as a hitter, but he's tough to double up. So you're not going to get 2 for the price of 1 with this guy unless he just absolutely hits a scorcher at somebody.
If you're standing by for Major League Baseball, the A's and Angels coming up when we're done here. Fastball misses outside. And Melillo is a guy who was a 5th-round draft choice of Oakland. So they'll be keeping an eye on him. Broke the hamate bone in his hand, missed 18 games this year. That's the little bone just on the top of your wrist that protrudes. And very fragile. You get whacked there.
Dr. Patrick breaking it down for you.
Well, Jerry Punch was out here earlier this week, so I got some advice from Jerry. This one's fouled out of play.
A lot of guys break that bone. You hear about it a lot.
You ever have an injury there to your hand?
No, never did. I don't think I swung that hard, obviously. These guys are hurting and swinging.
Well, I think you got to get hit to really injure it, but Pestano trying to hold it to a 5-3 game and give his offense a chance in the bottom of the 9th. First and second occupied, 1 out in the South Carolina 9th inning. Strike call to Melillo. Pestano records the 2nd out of the inning.
Ball right there. I think he was guessing in this situation. Ball right down the middle.
Froze him with a fastball. 2 out now for Brendan Wynn.
A good late movement.
Wynn is 1 for 4, drove in a run back in the 2nd inning. Swung through a fastball there. Well, we heard all these bad things about the Cal State Fullerton bullpen, and the numbers backed it up. Their ERA was enormous as a staff. And I'll tell you what, Schreppel and Pistano look pretty darn good. One and one to Brendan Wynn.
Pistano's throwing that little ball underneath the hands of the right-handers. I mean, the first pitch of this batter, good strike. Tollison hit a ball that got jammed on.
Right.
And other than that, they really haven't done much.
The intentional walk to Landon Powell. 1-1 to Win with 2 gone here in the 9th. Pistano working quite slowly here in the 9th inning.
Careful with every pitch.
Breaking ball for a called strike. That was pretty.
Yes, it was.
For a hitter, it starts right at your body.
This is a tough one to pull the trigger on because he drops down on the right-hander. And then, absolutely right. It starts right at your hip and then breaks back over. Changed arm angle on it too, so tough to see, tough to pick up.
1 and 2 to Win. Struck him out on a high fastball. Another good inning of work from Vinny Pestano. We will go to the bottom of the 9th, and this will be it for Cal State Fullerton. Pedroza, Piloteri, and Walton, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Thank you, Dave. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance at the College World Series tonight, at least, for Cal State Fullerton. They trail South Carolina 5-3.
Well, Mike, here's what they were doing during the break, the Fullerton guys, while Blackwell was warming up. One of the things you do, you get out on the on-deck circle and you try to get that timing and try to be able to time any pitch. I'm going to make sure I'm loose and I'm ready if coach needs me.
Sergio Pedroza will lead it off, the right fielder. He has a walk and 2 flyouts tonight. 2 to tie, 3 to win for Cal State Fullerton. Again, if they do come back and win, they would advance to Saturday's series against Texas. That one's downstairs 2-0.
You know, I was telling you that Blackwell reminds me of somebody. I finally figured out Tim Hudson of the Oakland A's.
Huh. On the corner, 2-1.
That same curl in his arm and his wind up and delivery.
Herky-jerky, all knees and elbows.
That was a nasty slider, too.
But he falls behind 3-1. Piloteri would be next, and he has a couple of base hits tonight. Goes after a 3-1 and chops it down to the second baseman. Really surprised he went after that pitch. It looked like it was well out of the strike zone anyway. Malillo throws him out, 1 gone.
Well, you know, you need a base runner, and a lot of times you'll see guys take that 3-1 because more than likely you're going to get the same pitch on 3-2. May not be the same location, but you might get the same fastball. Handles this hop nicely too. And you see the swing, but watch this hop it takes right here at the last second. This ball's going to stay down on him. Nice job of staying with it.
Cal State Fullerton has not had a base hit since the 4th. And they desperately need a couple here with Piloteri. He has 2 hits. Been hot at the series, as you see, 5 for 11. Takes a high fastball, and Blackwell has fallen behind a lot of hitters since he has come in, but has still been very effective. Fastball right down the middle, foul back, 1-1.
Well, this game's been very well coached. You know, they've done a great job with the strategy, and I think one of the biggest moves was Tanner going to Blackwell in the 7th. So that's it. We got to close this game out right now.
And we saw that with Texas when they went to Houston Street early. Closer role in college baseball is not just 3 guys. Strike call. 2-2.
A lot of confidence in that slider. He's got a nice late break, and he can throw it for strikes at any count. Look at him drop down. I think he fooled everybody on that one.
3-2. 1 out, nobody on. Piloteri grounds it foul outside of third. Brett Pill is in the on-deck circle as Neil Walton, the shortstop, the scheduled hitter, but Walton only a .258 hitter on the season and 0 for 3 tonight. Breaking pitch spoiled again. Piloteri just trying to stay alive.
Just staying alive, a little slider, tough pitch to hit. He keeps throwing that break pitch. 3-2.
There it is again, grounded toward the hole at short. Tollison, who has been the runner perfect, comes up and throws him out, 2 gone. South Carolina 1 out away from forcing another game tomorrow night. It would be at 7 Eastern from the College World Series. These same 2 teams, and Blackwell trying to nail down the game and pick up a save. A's and Angels coming up when we're done here. So stay tuned for that if that's the ball game you're waiting for. And here is Brett Pill, a freshman from Covina, California. He will be the pinch hitter for Neil Walton, the shortstop, and the last chance for the Titans.
Well, that's tough when you come off the bench. The first pitch you see is a nasty slider
from a sidearm. 0-2, and that was right in the dugout lookout. Got to be paying attention. Baby got in there and hurt on a late swing. 0-2 to Pill. Missed with that slider. But Blackwell's impressive, isn't he?
He's impressive. I tell you, the 2-2 pitch he threw to Piloteri, where he dropped down, Piloteri, and he dropped down and threw the fastball. Showed me a lot. Then he came back and threw 3 sliders in a row.
Prettyman would be next if Pill can keep it alive. Called strike 3. Chad Blackwell, terrific out of the bullpen. He gets the save for Jason Fletcher, who wins his 6th of the year. And the Gamecocks of South Carolina, who had been shut out in the first game by Cal State Fullerton, come back to beat the Titans tonight 5-3. And that will force a sudden death elimination game between the same 2 teams. Texas waiting in the wings. They get 3 days of rest. They won't be back in action until the start of the championship series on Saturday. Now South Carolina 3-1. They will meet Cal State Fullerton again tomorrow night to decide the other half of the bracket in the College World Series. The final score, South Carolina 5, Cal State Fullerton 3. Coming up next, the A's and the Angels. Some of you will see the Diamondbacks and the Padres. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Harold Reynolds, Dave Ryan, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now let's take you to Anaheim, or for some of you, out to San Diego. Good night, everyone.